All over the planet Vegeta, an incredible power would be made even the planets that would nearly rumble. That's right, a Saiyan baby had been born with an exorbitant power. So much was his power that this time all the trackers had exploded when trying to measure his power. But something strange was that this Saiyan seemed to have been born with the shape of an Ozaru. However, in the same way, he retained several human traits, which surprised the doctors who observed such a phenomenon. Even his father Bardock, who was a low-class Saiyan, he was very surprised of all the power that was being released by his son.
How is this possible? Yes, Gogeta and I are low-class warriors, but I have no doubt that he's my son, since his face is identical to mine.
All these rumors would even reach King Vegeta, who was furious knowing that a new Saiyan had been able to overcome the power of his little son. Given the order to eradicate that little warrior, several soldiers in charge of King Vegeta would come to end the life of the baby, which, despite possessing an incredible power, would not be able to defend himself, having only a few days of birth. But on the way, they found their father, Bardock.
I know this stupid King Vegeta would try to end the life of my dear son, since he can't stand that baby, has even outgrown his power.
The soldiers, sent without any words, had launched against Bardock confident, because Bardock, despite being a warrior, was considered low class. Energy spheres would be thrown, causing great chaos around the place, but Bardock, with all his experience, was able to end the life of each of the soldiers who tried to end the life of his beloved son. However, he had not come out immune to being several soldiers.
That was a complex thing, but I plan to give even my life as long as Kakarot's fate is different. I trust that he'll finish with that damn Frieza.
However, a much more powerful warrior than the rest would stand in front of Bardock, which had even surprised him because he was one of the trusted soldiers of the powerful Frieza.
What the hell? Why the hell are you attacking me? Well, we've fulfilled each other out of the orders of the great Frieza. You must know, we can't risk that the legendary Super Saiyan is born, and we know that a child has been born with a great power that even surpasses the elite warriors. But don't feel bad, because in the same way the great Frieza would finish with you.
But the warrior was able to throw a powerful energy attack from his mouth, with which he was almost able to end Bardock's life.
Apparently it didn't even help me to warm up. I better come back with the great Frieza, because soon they will start with the fireworks of the planet Vegeta.
The warrior would quickly leave. However, Bardock, among the bodies of the other warriors, was able to stand up, but his whole body was in terrible condition. Even his power had fallen to the lowest, expelling large amounts of blood, because that attack was almost able to end his life.
My body hurts too much. I feel like I'm about to die, but I'm not gonna let Kakarot's fate be cut off. He still can't defend himself.
Bardock with his ship would arrive quickly to the recovery capsules, in which after spending only 5 hours, he was able to recover completely. Dressing quickly, going to where his wife Gine was. Bardock, I'm glad you're here. Kakarot's power had been so much, he'd been considered the most powerful warrior on the whole planet Vegeta, but his appearance is rare.
No, Gine, there's no time for any of this. You have to quickly switch to Kakarot, which tonight we'll send to planet Earth.
What did you say? I can't believe you mean it. I know you're saying warrior, but little Kakarot's just a baby. He won't be able to defend himself.
Believe me, Gine, on that planet Earth he'll have more chances to flee. You and I will be the decoy, because if that damn Frieza realizes we're not on the planet, he'll finish with us.
Bardock, please calm down. What are you talking about?
Gine, I wasn't able to come back yesterday, since the cursed King Vegeta sent soldiers to finish with Kakarot, but I was able to defeat them. But Kakarot's powers even reached Frieza's ears, and I wasn't able to do anything against his warrior.
Gine was surprised by everything Bardock said, but she would be taken out of her thoughts.
So Gine, I only ask that you trust me. We have to send Kakarot to planet Earth, since there's no warriors there that we can, although the power is incredible.
I hope that you're wrong, Bardock, but if you're sure, let's do it. When the night came, Bardock and Gine had encapsulated Kakarot in a ship bound for the planet Earth, in which his parents observed their little son for the last time.
You have to survive, Kakarot. I trust you. I know that you'll become the most powerful Saiyan of all time.
We promise to come to you, dear son, so survive. You arrive in your body the most powerful blood of this entire solar system. You are a powerful elite Saiyan. The ship had left the planet Vegeta, heading to an incredible speed towards the planet Earth. which at the moment of colliding with the planet would arrive towards a rocky area of the planet, in which instantly an old man was passing by the place, noticing a great light.
What is this great light? Is there supposed to be absolutely nothing around these places?
The grandfather named Gohan would approach towards the great light, being surprised to realize that it was a simple baby, but when he got much closer, he was surprised since he would realize that he was not an ordinary baby, since he had fur all over his body. Grandfather Gohan would take a few steps to leave, but he would return since he was unable to leave an abandoned baby. So Grandfather Gohan would take him to Case to raise him completely. However, Kakarot's behavior was very explosive, because the instinct of the Saiyans ran through his whole body, which was to destroy everything in his path. One day, in which both were of a great precipice, Kakarot would fall by the abyss, having a big blow on the head, which would make his behavior change completely. He wanted to continue training and become more powerful, but his thirst for destruction had completely ceased.
Now I remember, I haven't named you. I hope you'll excuse this poor old man, but I'll call you Goku.
The days passed until on a full moon Goku would be observed to completely. Something very unusual happened. That's right, because even though Goku was in his Super Saiyan Phase 4, Goku was able to access an Ozaru, but this time it was of a golden color. While his power was incredible, he would begin to destroy everything around him. Grandpa Gohan, not knowing that it was Goku, would try to stop him with his best techniques, but Goku, possessing control in said transformation, would not be able to do absolutely anything, ending with the life of his grandfather. Thus, the night and the days had passed in which Goku, on this occasion, would become much more powerful, and would be able to defeat each of his enemies with great ease, since his power was incredible for his part. In the ship of the Emperor of Evil, Frieza, he was very thoughtful.
I feel that something is not right, but I have nothing to worry about. I have been able to end the life of that pathetic baby who was born with a great power.
My lord, is there anything bothering you? If that's the case, let me tell you that you count on me for absolutely everything, my lord. You have nothing to worry about.
I thank you, soldier, but I'm just thinking, so don't worry.
Returning to planet Earth, a few years had already passed in which Goku would be able to become good friends. He even had a son, called him the same way Gohan had his father. However, all over the planet Earth, in the same way a Saiyan ship had arrived in search of Kakarot. That's right, it was his older brother, Radits.
What the hell is he supposed to be? How is it possible that this useless one from Kakarot didn't just destroy this planet? At the moment, I'm planning to finish with it.
Raditz, with the help of the tracker, was able to locate the most powerful warrior of the entire planet Earth. And when Goku was not able to hide his power completely, he would be perceived by Raditz, who would quickly arrive at Kame House, which was the place where he was. Goku, realizing that the warrior in front of him even exceeded the power of Piccolo, would observe him intently, but would not put himself on guard since for Goku he was a Moor.
I don't know who the hell you are, but you better get out of here if you don't want to die.
Don't say stupid things. Even if you don't remember it, I'm your older brother, so I'm much more powerful than you.
You're just another insect if I compare you to my true power, so go away.
If you disobey your older brother, I'll have to teach you good manners. And for that, I'll take your son, who I'm able to notice that in his veins runs the Saiyan blood. Raditz would move at a great speed, but for Goku it was nothing, because at that precise moment, Goku was able to hold him tightly by the neck, making him fall. But before causing much more damage in Kame House, this, with great speed, would take him to an inhospitable place in which instantly he would throw him towards a few mountains, creating a great destruction all around.
Now, yes, there's no one here, so tell me, what the hell do you want?
Were Mom's words even true? You were born with the power of an elite class warrior craves. But Raditz, without letting himself be defeated so easily, had thrown himself against Goku. However, the exchange of blows only lasted 40 seconds, in which Raditz wasn't able to do absolutely anything against Goku. While for his part, Raditz had bruises all over his body, because the blows that Goku had connected to him were of overwhelming power. So Goku, with a slight blow to his stomach, was able to make him fall, creating a big explosion, leaving Raditz on the verge of death.
Oh, damn. I seem to have overdone it with that punch. I didn't want him to die.
Goku would immediately approach Raditz, stretching out one of his hands, beginning to transmit a little of his energy to him so that he's not in mortal danger.
At this moment, I want you to explain to me the reason why you've come to planet Earth. What is it that you want?
Okay,
I'm really not able to do anything against you, so I'll tell you everything.
Radits would tell everything that had happened since the explosion of the planet Vegeta, as even his parents had sacrificed themselves so that Kakarot would be able to reach the planet Earth, while Bardock, his father, had total confidence that Kakarot would be able to defeat the Emperor of the Universe, Frieza, who was the cause of the destruction of the planet Vegeta. I understand from where you are giving me to understand. You want me to join you so that you'll be able to defeat that Frieza. Indeed, if you really have the power to surpass the elite class Saiyans, we're sure that with you, our victory of chance increases greatly. I'll help you, but I want you to know something. I plan to only fight against that bastard, because since I already arrived on this planet, no warrior's been able to give me a good battle. But against Frieza, that'll be impossible for you. The conversation of both would be interrupted by the Prince of the Saiyans.
Radits, if you've been able to convince your brother, go to the planet Namek. Since the cursed Frieza has been able to discover the spheres of that place are capable of granting him immortality.
My Saiyan blood boils with emotion. If you don't accept my condition, I'll also go on my own to the planet Namek since I have heard everything. Okay, I accept your condition. Now let's leave this place. We have to go quickly.
Raditz was able to take one more out of the spaceships, so at the moment Goku would say goodbye to each of his friends, leaving for the planet Namek, where he would meet for the first time with the cause of the extinction of his race. For his part, the evil Emperor had already been able to reach the planet Namek, and with the help of his soldiers was able to get 2 of the 7 Dragon Balls. But hundreds of inhabitants of the planet had died.
This damn feeling continues, even though it's been years, so I have to get a hold of immortality. I'll be able to even destroy the damn Beerus.
For their part, Goku and Raditz were also heading at high speed towards the planet Namek, where both Saiyans, Vegeta, and Nappa were. Quickly, 7 days passed in which Goku and Raditz were able to reach the planet Namek, but the moment they arrived, they realized that Prince Vegeta was in terrible condition and on the verge of death. Since Frieza had requested the presence of his most powerful warriors, these warriors were the elite of the Emperor of Evil, Frieza.
No, damn, we won't be able to do anything against Frieza's elite. Those guys wouldn't even be able to call warriors, because they're extremely weak.
Goku, by raising his power a little, was able to almost destroy the planet Namek, while everything around him began to crack, just like all the trackers on the planet were completely destroyed because that power was gigantic. Goku had been able to make the whole planet Namek shudder, because his power seemed to have no limit. Frieza's gaze would change completely because the pressure he felt was incredible, since Frieza wasn't able to feel the power of his enemy, but of the incredible pressure that spread throughout the planet.
No! Whose incredible power is this?
The evil Emperor had panicked when he had felt all the incredible power. For his part, Goku was able to get in front of the warriors who were almost capable of ending Vegeta's life. Goku, watching him, was able to throw one of his seeds, which were able to recover all the vitality of the user. And Vegeta, being a Saiyan, was able to get an incredible increase in power, being equally surprised to realize the appearance that Saiyan had.
So this is the Saiyan that everyone's talking about. I can't believe it. It really has been an incredible power. Although I'm not able to feel it, my body is shaking.
Goku would begin to walk towards the enemies, which were the 4 warriors, and they belonged to the elite of Frieza, which without caring about anything began to mock. But among them all, his captain was able to just as well take a step forward.
You have no right to mock. I'm sure this warrior is capable of giving battle to me, so you wouldn't be able to do anything against him.
Don't underestimate yourself, since your power is absolutely nothing compared to my true power. Even that guy named Frieza doesn't possess a power that amazes me.
Damn, you dare talk to the mighty Frieza like that? He's the emperor of the whole universe. There's no warrior more powerful than he.
Goku having much more power, he was able to move at an incredible speed against Ginyu, being able to end his life with a slight blow to the chest. That's right, the most powerful warrior had fallen to Goku with a single blow, so the trio of warriors would try to flee.
Do you think they can run away? Planetary attraction!
An incredible force of gravity would begin to drag all the warriors to where Goku was, and being a few centimeters away, the warriors tried to attack, being in vain, because at that moment, Goku, with expelling his aura in the elite form of fire, was able to completely evaporate them, leaving absolutely nothing.
Radits, were these weaklings really the elite of the guy named Frieza?
Of course, Kakarot. You've surprised me. I didn't think you'd be able to finish everyone at once. How great is your power?
But while Goku was approaching, he had quickly noticed how a beam of energy was heading towards Radits and Vegeta. So Goku, with a fist of wind, was able to send them flying, which would cause Vegeta's fury.
I know you're much more powerful than me, but I have no plans to let you disrespect me. I'm the Prince of the Saiyans, you worm.
But even surprised to realize that Frieza was in front of them. That's right, the time Frieza hadn't even accessed his final form, with which his power was surprising for the Saiyans who were there. However, it was not surprising at all for Goku.
So you're the Saiyan who's been able to be born with a power that even surpassed the elite Saiyan warriors. I'll give you my offer. Join my army and become the absolute commander.
It's a pity I don't like to take orders from anyone, and I only came to this planet to be able to realize that you are able to make me use all my power.
In that case, I'm planning to end your existence. You won't get out of this place alive. I'll use all my power.
Frieza rushed against Goku, with their battle beginning to cause devastation all around him. That's right, hundreds of lightning bolts were released by each of his fists. However, Frieza's arms were trembling because of the power that Goku was able to use each of his blows. Unlike Goku, he was only using a small part of his true power, so he had no difficulty in keeping up with Frieza. However, Goku, to increase his power a little more, he would start to grant him thousands of blows all over his body, which, when Frieza would fall to the ground, would expel large amounts of blood.
Oh, damn. I feel like my body's collapsing. I can't lose against this ape. You are of an inferior race to me.
It doesn't seem like to me that I'm inferior to you, since you're the one eating dust, not me. So stand up and let's keep fighting.
I can't see what my eyes are watching. Even all of us try to do something only to be the Frieza's elite, and we're completely defeated.
At this moment, there's no doubt whatsoever. Really, Kakarot's the legendary Super Saiyan that was talked about so much.
Father, your sacrifice has not been in vain. Goku would begin to approach Frieza, while a much more powerful pressure would fall on his entire body, causing several of his bones to break completely. On the other hand, in the ship of the evil Emperor, one of his soldiers would notice that Frieza's symptoms were beginning to decrease rapidly, so he would quickly communicate with the powerful King Cold, as well as with his brother Cooler. So both emperors in the same way began to go to the planet Namek.
I can't believe a single warrior would be able to beat the crap out of Frieza. But now, interesting. This would be a nice stretch, and likewise Cooler has been informed.
The stupid Frieza always is so confident. I bet that's why he wasn't able to do anything against his opponent. I'll have to save him.
Returned to the battlefield, Frieza would stand up very hardly.
Wow, I'm surprised that you were able to stand up while my pressure was active. I don't mind dying in this place, but I'm not going to let you make fun of me. I, the Emperor of Evil, will show you 100% of all my power.
Frieza at the moment would begin to access 100% of all his power, with which the whole planet would begin to shake. That's right, the planet was not able to withstand two great powers. Frieza's musculature would increase a little, but his power had exploded hundreds of times more. So he would observe Goku with a very serious look.
I hope you're ready to die, because at this very moment I will annihilate you.
Frieza threw himself against Goku, who, with the intention of testing the power of his enemy, would let himself be completely hit. That's right, all of Frieza's fists, attacks, and kicks were able to connect throughout Goku's body.
No, damn. Not even the legendary Super Saiyan's able to stand up to that. But Kakarot's been at fault, as it's allowed him to access his maximum power.
Vegeta, we better help Kakarot, because if we don't, after him, we'll follow.
But before both Saiyans interfered, Goku would fall to the ground, creating an incredible destruction all over the battlefield. Even lava was coming out of several volcanoes.
Haha, that's what you deserve for underestimating the Emperor Evil Frieza.
Instantly, both ships had arrived on the planet Namek, so King Cold and Cooler would come out, prostrating themselves to the side of Frieza.
Ho ho ho! I can tell that damn trash you've been able to force you to use 100% of all your power. But your body's in pieces, Frieza. Did you trust yourself?
Hahaha, Father, that's more than evident. Since his opponents are pathetic Saiyans, they don't possess the necessary power to defeat us. And if they were able to leave Frieza in those conditions, it has been by Confio.
No, damn. This would be our end. Even two warriors who have arrived look much more powerful than Frieza.
At that moment, a great aura would rise all over the battlefield, which left Frieza surprised since he had hit it with all his power. Goku would spit out some blood, watching the new warriors who had arrived.
Frieza, if that's the maximum power you've got, you left me disappointed. since I thought you'd be able to hit me much harder. You're a good for nothing. Damn worm, I won't let you make fun of me anymore. Oh, nothing more compared to me. Even your planet was destroyed by me.
Goku would hold Frieza's fist with only one of his hands while staring at him.
Frieza, you're nothing against me, so I'll give you all the advantage. Fight the three of you against me.
Frieza was able to say something. He would spit blood, and Goku inserts his fist into his stomach, making him spit large amounts of blood. Then both warriors would intervene on the battlefield, pouncing against Goku. Most Saiyans likewise would also want to intervene in the battle, however, they knew that they didn't have the required power to face both of the warriors. But they were surprised when they realized that Goku was able to face three warriors without any difficulty. So it is Goku, of a great expulsion of his power, was able to send them to fly to some of the mountains, destroying everything around him. So instantly, Frieza and his father launched themselves against Goku, while on the other hand, Cooler would begin to access his maximum power. That's right, Cooler was much more powerful than his brother, so he had still had one more transformation. His power began to grow in an incredible way, while his body seemed to wear a great armor, as his musculature would increase.
You're the first warrior who forces me to use a fifth form. I hope that you're prepared to die, since you will not be able to withstand a single one of my blows.
Cooler would rush at an incredible speed against Goku. Instantly, Frieza and King Cold would turn to the side, so Cooler was able to connect his incredible blow to Goku's face. But to everyone's surprise, Cooler's incredible blow wasn't even able to make Goku's head move. So Goku, with a smile, expelled a little of his power, causing incredible damage to Cooler.
It's time for me to move my muscles a little. Devastating planetary!
A great attack would rise into the air, so hundreds of rays surrounded Cooler, causing him incredible damage, which made him fall to the ground on the verge of death. Without being able to move any of his joints, the Cold King, observing this, would pass to his last transformation. While Frieza would try to attack him, Goku would stretch out one of his hands.
Don't rush! I'll give your father the time to transform, and between the two attack me, so don't waste your energies!
Frieza, furious, swung his pride, was not able to do anything, just waiting for his father to be able to access 100% of all his power. After a few minutes, a big explosion would be generated all over the place, watching King Cold at his maximum power.
It's time to end this battle, Cooler. I know you're very badly injured, but you better try to fight, because if you're not able to beat him, all of us will die today. So make your last effort.
Cooler, with his maximum effort, was able to stand up, with which the three warriors started attacking Goku. However, everything was in vain because despite having the numerical advantage, Son Goku's power was on another level. So Goku was only responsible for dodging each of his blows. So instantly, Goku would observe them with a smile.
I've granted you the time required for you to be able to harm me. Now it's my turn to attack, so get ready! I'll eradicate you!
Goku, with his great speed, was able to cross the chest of King Cold, being able to even take out his heart, so he would fall to the ground lifeless. Frieza, furious in the same way, rushed against Goku. However, Goku, holding his head tightly, was able to tear off his head, making Frieza's body fall to the ground. Goku would stare at Cooler as he began to approach.
What did I just see? He was able to wipe out the evil family in a matter of seconds. Can't believe the power of the legendary Super Saiyan.
Please, I'm begging you, spare my life. I promise you'll never see my face again. That's too late. I can't leave you alive, as you'll continue to enslave many more races, so I think it's time to end the problem at the root.
Goku would stretch out one of his hands, and with a powerful attack, he was able to pulverize Cooler completely. The instant the evil family was eradicated, several inhabitants came out of their hiding places, approaching Goku.
Sir,
we thank you for being able to protect our planet. If you have any wishes, the Dragon Balls are for your disposal.
You have nothing to be grateful for. I've done the right thing, and for the wish, I want all the victims at the hands of Frieza's army to be revived.
No, damn insect. Let me ask for the eternal life. You don't need it, you have incredible power, but I long for immortality.
Goku would observe him with a very serious look, which made Vegeta enter into terror.
I don't know where you'll go, Vegeta, or if you wish to come with my brother and me to planet Earth.
I'll go with you, but as I'll be the only way in which I'll be able to become much more powerful.
The three Saiyan warriors were headed to the planet Earth, however a much more powerful warrior was watching Son Goku. Just like on planet Earth, an incredible, extremely powerful warrior would make Goku know the defeat. Upon arriving on planet Earth, the trio of Saiyans had separated to continue with their great training. On the other hand, the Prince of the Saiyans was able to meet with Bulma, and this being a great scientist was able to create gravity capsules in which the great Vegeta was able to train to become much more powerful.
I'm the Prince of the Saiyans. Can't allow another Saiyan to be much more powerful than me.
On the other hand, Goku and Radits both were training in the mountains, because on this occasion Goku wanted his brother's power to rise in a great way. However, on one of his training days, a gigantic power to be felt all over the planet Earth. A power that even on this occasion was able to make the Saiyan Goku nervous.
Whose is all this incredible power? I can't believe it! The power he's unleashing is amazing.
I feel like my whole body's crushed by the incredible power. Who is it?
But a very peculiar warrior stood in front of Goku. That's right, the speed with which he had arrived had left him very surprised, since even Goku wasn't able to notice.
Who are you? I can tell that you're a very powerful monster. It's not yet time for you to know about my identity, but I want to prove the great power that the incredible Goku is said to possess.
The mysterious warrior rushed against Goku, who exchanged multiple blows all over the place. However, it's been very difficult for Goku to keep up. His battle would not last more than 2 minutes. So at the moment, both would take a little distance, while on the warrior's face a big smile would be drawn.
With you, I'll really be able to use the Super Saiyan.
Super Saiyan? What the hell's that?
At the moment, the hair would turn a golden color, while on the whole planet Earth began to shudder due to all the incredible power that was released. Even Goku would be very surprised by all the incredible power that the warrior gave off. However, without Goku being able to see anything, the warrior was able to connect a powerful blow to Goku's stomach, which this time had caused incredible damage, while too much blood was coming out of Goku's body.
Yeah, what the hell is that transformation? The blow that has been able to connect me has caused me incredible damage, but I can't give up so easily.
Goku would stand up, while his power began to increase in an incredible way. That's right, Goku was pushing the power of his body to the limit, while the mysterious warrior stared at him.
The rumors were true. He really is very powerful, and if I'm able to warn him, everything will happen. I know he'll be able to do something, but I have to see the limit of his power.
Instantly, a huge extortion from the energy of Goku had been able to access his maximum power, with which even his eyes could be observed a bright red, just as his gaze had completely changed.
You're a very powerful warrior with whom I had no plans to hide any of my true power, so I hope you're prepared.
Goku moved at a great speed, however this time he was able to brush Trunks' cheek, but instantly his battle would be much more destructive. This time all the Z warriors had come to the place to know what was happening, being surprised by the great battle that both warriors were releasing.
Radits, what the hell happened? Is he a new enemy?
I don't know, Vegeta, but the power he's able to release is amazing.
But instantly, a smile would be drawn on Vegeta's face, while his power would likewise begin to increase in an incredible way. That's right, this time Goku and Trunks had stopped their battle, realizing that in the same way, a great power would be felt all over the place. Everyone being surprised to realize how Vegeta had agreed to the same transformation as the warrior who was fighting with Goku.
Wow, Prince Vegeta's been able to acquire the same transformation as that guy.
Trunks would return to his base state, starting to explain that he came from the future, hiding his identity so that the timeline's not affected. That's right, this time the warriors were 2 years old, before facing extremely powerful warriors, which all the Z warriors would fall before their powers.
I hope to be able to come back in 2 years to be able to help in this battle.
Trunks would leave the place, while all the warriors were very surprised. However, the most shocked was Goku, since his power was overcome, although it wasn't by much the power that warrior had been able to almost defeat them.
Vegeta, I want to have a friendly combat with you. I want to check the new power you've been able to get.
This time I'll be able to beat you, you damn worm.
The eyes of both would cross, so at the moment both began to exchange blows. However, the difference in powers was overwhelming, since Goku was able to sweep the floor with Vegeta's body. That's right, although Vegeta had been able to access the Super Saiyan, he wasn't able to compare with Goku's power, which instantly, with a great attack of energy, was able to put him out of combat.
I have to use the Dragon Balls. Really, their transformations were similar, but why was Vegeta's power hundreds of times less?
all the warriors would spread out to continue with their training, but much more Vegeta, since he couldn't stand that despite taking his body to their limit, he hadn't been able to beat Kakarot. For his part, Goku, with the help of Radits, they would begin to gather all the Dragon Balls. After a few hours, they'd been able to gather all of them.
Brother, one question. Why do you need the spheres? I need to know what is the power I possess, and why Vegeta's transformation was similar to that warrior's. He wasn't able to cope with me? I have lots of doubts.
Goku would summon the mighty Shenron, so instantly the whole sky would darken, realizing that they had summoned Shenron.
You have gathered the 7 Dragon Balls. Tell me, what is your wish? I can meet 3 of them.
What is the state I was born with? I like to have answers. And how can I become more powerful? Am I the legendary Super Saiyan?
Instantly, the other warriors would arrive at the place, realizing that Goku and Raditz had summoned Shenron.
First of all, you are not the legendary Super Saiyan, since the legendary Super Saiyan lives on a planet far away from this place, and his power is unlimited. Secondly, the state with which you were blessed is the Super Saiyan's Phase 4. You were only able to pass the other transformations. And finally, you can become more powerful if you continue with your training. Although, of course, increasing your power in that state would be much more complicated, since the Super Saiyan Phase 4 is your base state.
Everyone was surprised to learn that Goku was not the legendary Super Saiyan, he was only born with Super Saiyan Phase 4.
That means that I possess the Super Saiyan Stage 1, and if Kakarot's been able to be born with that transformation, I'm also able to access a similar state.
Vegeta would quickly leave to continue his great training. Meanwhile, Goku would remain very thoughtful.
In that case, I have to train much more, because if my power stays stagnant, I won't be able to overcome my limits. I'll train on my own from now on, Raditz.
You understand, brother? In that case, I'll leave to train with Gohan and Piccolo.
Goku would leave for the Sacred Temple. That's right, Goku had it planned to enter the Room of Time, in which the instant he arrived, he would expel the maximum of his power, with which even the same dimension would change noticeably.
I don't plan to stay behind. I know that I have the necessary ability to be able to overcome my limits once again.
Goku would start with his great training, which this time was to try to access a new transformation. So he would begin to concentrate all his energy while raising his power. However, it was very complicated for him. He was only able to get his muscles to grow in a great way.
I have an idea. The Saiyans were able to transform into Zarus, but what'll happen if I transform?
Goku, with a small sphere in one of his hands, was able to create a small artificial moon, with which he instantly transformed. His fur would change to a golden color, but this would begin to destroy everything around him. Not being able to control all that power, so they spent months in the Room of Time, in which, in all this time, Goku was able to master his state completely.
It's time! I'm already able to fully maintain reason, so no problem.
Goku exceeded his state of Ozaru, with which, at the moment of not having completely lost his mind, his golden fur and body began to shrink, which would leave Goku very surprised, since he had not happened before. While an amazing power was released all over the place, at the instant of an incredible scream by Goku, this would create a great explosion, as it was possible to observe a Goku with a similar appearance, but this time, the color of his fur was golden, while his power was capable of disintegrating any warrior not on the same scale of his power.
Wow! The power I've been able to get is amazing, but I have to be able to completely master it, because otherwise, I'll even hurt my friends.
Goku began to master his new power. That's right, Goku in his base state, which was the Super Saiyan 4, was able to access the Super Saiyan. For that reason, the fur was golden. On the other hand, in a very secluded place, a scientist known as Dr. Gero was able to create 2 powerful androids, which possessed the cells of all the warriors, even of Goku Phase 4. However, these androids, despite being very powerful warriors, were only part of the real danger. That's right, a warrior named Cell, which he possessed in his body, the cells of all the most powerful warriors in the universe, was being formed.
With all the cell phones of the warriors, the power of Cell will be incredible. Nothing and no one will be able to stop him, not even those annoying Saiyans.
Returning to the Room of Time, Goku had been able to master all his power completely, so Goku would leave the room while his power was able to alert all the Z warriors. However, a spy robot was able to steal a tiny hair from Son Goku's new state, being able that the power was incubating the powerful Cell. and it was able to hold all that incredible power. That's right, on this occasion, with that small sample of energy, Cell was able to develop completely, being able to generate a big explosion all over the place, while his power would likewise draw attention of all the warriors. Realizing that 2 years had already passed, I had completely forgotten. It's been 2 years already, so those androids will appear on an island in the west, destroying everything around. But there's no destroyed island, or is there anything that guy was so pure nonsense? For his part, Dr. Gero was surprised to realize how his greatest creation had been able to evolve quickly with the help of that last sample.
Cell, absorb the android so that you'll be able to achieve your perfect form.
As you order. Although I thank you for being able to create me, I don't like being ordered by beings weaker than me.
Cell, with a beam of energy, was able to end the life of its creator, while approaching the androids, and without allowing any of them to move, was able to absorb them completely. On this occasion, the power that was released was amazing, so much so that even it overshadowed the power of Goku. Apparently that warrior was said to be true. It had turned out to be more than where all the incredible power was released. Meanwhile, in a very distant place, in the same way, a warrior as powerful as Cell or much more was watching everything.
Keep getting much more powerful, because very soon I'll end your very existence, Son Goku, or you'll be part of all my power.
Returning to planet Earth, the warriors were able to get in front of Cell, being surprised by the power that this new enemy was releasing. However, confident, Vegeta would take a step forward.
I'll show you that this warrior's a simple joke on this side of me.
Vegeta would access Super Saiyan 2, while Cell would observe it with a big smile.
You don't have the power to stand up to me, Vegeta, so you better get out, damn worm.
A furious Vegeta would rush against Cell, however his blows were not able to cause any damage to Cell, with which a few blows were able to leave the Prince of the Saiyans lying on the ground with few wounds.
I want to fight Son Goku, because I was created to end his life.
Goku, the instant he took a step, would realize that Vegeta would get back on his feet.
I haven't been defeated yet. Now I'll show you the fruit of my training has had, so I hope you're ready to observe the power of the great Vegeta.
Vegeta would immediately begin to expel a large amount of energy, which left everyone surprised. That's right, Vegeta had been able to achieve 3 new transformations, and this time he would use one of the most powerful transformations, the incredible Super Saiyan 3. The incredible power of Vegeta had been enough to make the whole planet Earth rumble, since the Prince of the Saiyans had been able to break every one of its limits, and despite this, he still hid a transformation more.
What do you think about my new power? With this power, you won't be able to do anything against me, since you're just a fucking experiment.
You make me so sorry, Vegeta, because really, even if you've had that incredible power increase, you'll not be able to do anything to save your life.
The look of Cell showed a great confidence. Instantly, both launched to start with the great battle. This time, their fists were powerful enough to cause havoc throughout the universe. That's right, the power that both subjects possessed, they were even capable of causing destruction by nearby planets. However, Goku was able to observe the battle intently.
If that is Vegeta's maximum power, he'll lose immediately, since his opponent only is cornering him with his incredible defense. No, but my father possesses incredible power. It seems that he's even able to beat Cell, since he's not able to counterattack. No, Trunks, look carefully. You can tell no matter how much Vegeta attacks, Cell's able to block every blow. While Vegeta more attacks, his energy begins to decrease, unlike Cell's power, which hasn't decreased in the slightest.
The battle was so intense that only Goku was able to observe what was really happening. Those wrecks were even able to attract the attention of an angel that was far away from the whole planet Earth. That's right, this was Whis, which thanks to his staff was able to observe the entire incredible battle. Wow, so the Saiyans of the planet Vegeta have evolved in an incredible way, since the power they are able to release is incredible. I would dare say that they would be excellent toys for Mr. Beerus in the future. Returning to the battlefield, Cell would instantly expel a little more of his incredible power, forcing Vegeta to retreat a few meters. So at the moment, Cell would start laughing because a few beads of drops of blood were falling from Vegeta's lip.
Apparently it doesn't matter what power you've been able to get. You're nothing besides me. Let me tell you, this is not even 50% of all my power.
No, I don't believe you at all. You're just bragging.
Furious, Vegeta would pounce against Cell again. However, on this occasion, Cell was able to connect some excellent blows to Vegeta, which caused incredible damage. Each blow was awarded strategically since Vegeta's energy flow began to be affected. Cell, instantly, with a powerful hammer blow, was able to send him to the base of the planet again, generating a powerful destruction in his path.
I've already said it. I want to fight with Son Goku, since no one else will be able to make me do anything against me.
Goku, at the moment of being about to climb on the platform, an incredible roar was able to make everyone present retreat, while a great Azaru would be formed all over the battlefield. That's right, the Prince of the Saiyans had been able to achieve the iconic transformation of Super Saiyan Phase 4, which was, at that moment of being in transition, it would be powerful enough to make everything around him shudder. A great light that would rise all over the battlefield, Vegeta would be observed in his new transformation.
Damn worm, you've been able to force me to use 100% of all my power. I was saving that transformation for when it was my turn to fight with Kakarot.
Wow, Vegeta's been able to achieve the transformation that I'd been able to be born with. Vegeta's an admirable warrior.
No matter how much power you boast, you won't be able to do anything in.
Cell wasn't able to finish his sentence since Vegeta's fist was in his stomach. That's right, on this occasion, Cell wasn't able to observe anything. Cell had been able to fly to a few mountains, generating surprising damage. Cell, at the moment of standing up, large amounts of blood were spreading over the battlefield.
Well, what I'm seeing may be the perfect warrior's bleeding. I thought that a stupid creation like you had no blood. You're well done. Damn monkey. At this very moment, I'm planning to crush you with my maximum power.
Cell, at that precise moment, he would release 100% of his power, as the occasion warranted, because Vegeta's power in Super Saiyan 4 had exploded in a surprising way, while Goku would begin to observe much more relaxed.
Cell's power is amazing, but Vegeta's able to master 100% of his power. He'll be able to beat Cell. Even if it doesn't succeed, Cell's not my opponent. I thought his power was much bigger because the extortion before left me surprised.
Both launched into an attack, so on this occasion, both left aside the defense, since each of them awarded each other blows, which were capable of destroying the planet Earth. But when Goku was in the place, he was able to create a great barrier, so that the planet is not affected in the slightest, while on the other hand, the blows of both were capable of destroying several of his bones. But Vegeta was starting to have the advantage, so with a great kick, he was able to send it flying, destroying mountains around.
I have to congratulate you. You're able to force me to use 100% of all my power. But on this occasion, I plan to end your miserable existence.
Cell was on the ground trying to recover from that incredible blow. Vegeta, for his part, would begin to charge an incredible attack, with which he'd planned to eradicate Cell completely. Vegeta would instantly throw his attack.
I don't plan to die without doing anything. This is my most powerful attack anyway.
Cell would throw his incredible attack. Both attacks would begin to collide in an incredible way. But on Vegeta's face, a big smile would appear. So he would instantly take his body to the limit, expelling much more power, managing to completely disintegrate Cell.
The damn green cockroach wasn't able to do anything against me.
That's right, Father. My father is able to beat Cell. This time, with the power I possess, I'll be able to beat the androids of my time.
After a few days, Trunks would also return to the future, of which he belonged, while in the current timeline several years had passed in which no danger had occurred for the Z Warriors, since on this occasion, even Majin Buu had not been a rival for the Warriors, since Goku was able to defeat him with incredible ease. But in a place very far away from all the 12 universes, the warrior who had been able to observe Goku for several years was...
It's time to absorb old Goku and his other companions of great powers.
That warrior would begin to move through all the 12 universes at a great speed, but at the moment to enter Universe 7 he would stop quickly, realizing that the God of Destruction along with his angel were heading the same way to the planet Earth.
Damn it! At the least appropriate movement, the Beerus bastard had woken up, and I'm sure he's heading to planet Earth to have a worthy battle.
Returning to planet Earth, they were celebrating Bulma's birthday. All the warriors were present. However, at the moment, the North Kai was able to communicate with Goku and Vegeta telepathically.
Goku, Vegeta, the god of destruction Beerus is heading towards your planet at a great speed. By all means, make him angry, because no matter the power you possess, it'll not be enough to defeat Beerus. Beerus? I feel like I've heard that name somewhere else. But it doesn't matter who it is, since we're the most powerful Saiyans.
Don't worry. Although if he calls himself the god of destruction, I hope he'll be powerful, since Majin Buu, he was not able to give me a worthy battle. I've had years that I don't have that feeling of being cornered.
No, you guys don't understand what you're saying. Beerus' power's on another level.
But instantly, both deities had arrived at Bulma's house, for which Vegeta, upon observing him, would remember how that subject was capable of humiliating his father.
But you are. Apparently you still remember me. But it's surprising that you're able to remember me since I humiliated your father when you were a child.
Wow, Vegeta, I can tell you already know this guy. What's wrong with you? Your look looks like you've seen the same demon.
No, Kakarot. Now I understand why the Kai was terrified. The power of this warrior is incredible. We're not able to do anything against him.
Vegeta, I think you're exaggerating everything, since he doesn't even seem to be powerful. He's all skinny, he doesn't even have muscles.
What is it that you've told me? If you have the courage to repeat it, and believe me, that I'll not leave the bones of you, since I'm capable of pulverizing you.
Sorry if I offended you, but better, why don't you just tell us that you bring him here?
Apparently, even if you don't know about my existence, you know what your place is. I'll tell you, Whis, my angel, has informed me that you're able to defeat Frieza. You're even blessed with incredible power since your birth.
You're correct. I was able to beat Frieza, and I was born with the power of Super Saiyan 4, so my power's birth is gigantic.
I understand, but by chance, don't you know the Super Saiyan God?
Super Saiyan God? No, I've never heard of that transformation.
In that case, I want to have a battle with you. And if you're able to force me to use 25% of all my power, I promise not to destroy this planet.
Only 25% of all the power? You're really underestimating me.
Goku would get in a battle pose, but despite having his guard up, the god Beerus was able to give him millions of blows, which would begin to cause incredible damage. So much so that in a few seconds, Goku had fallen to the ground very badly injured.
Yeah, what the hell? Even though I'm on my guard, I wasn't able to see anything. The power of that guy's amazing, but I have much more power.
Goku would stand up while his body expelled too much blood.
The damage you caused me was incredible, but what do you think about this?
Goku would begin to expel all his power, with which on this occasion, he'd been able to access the Super Golden Saiyan. The eyes of both would cross, so the incredible battle had begun. All the warriors of the party would realize that a great battle was taking place, and it was not a training.
Vegeta, do you even know what's going on?
Believe me, Bulma, I don't even know what'll happen. But better quickly gather the Dragon Balls. We'll have to know about the Super Saiyan God.
But that was the prize for the winner of my birthday.
Believe me, if we don't, no matter who the winner is on your birthday, we'll all die here. And I'm sure Kakarot won't be able to beat him.
Returned to the battle, Goku, despite using all his power, was not able to keep up with Beerus, who at the moment of the battle will increase his power, but only he would release it to 16% of all his power, with which he would begin to completely humiliate Goku. That's right, this time Goku wasn't even able to observe all the blows that came from Beerus, so he would hold him by the neck.
For a mere mortal, you surely possess incredible power, but you aren't able to force me to use the percentage I've told you.
Beerus, with a slight blow, was able to send him to the planet with a big blow. Goku had lost his transformation, while his body was in terrible condition.
God damn it! I haven't been able to make any scratches on him, so that's the power of the God of Destruction.
As I said, if you're not able to force me to use 25% of my power, I'll destroy the entire planet Earth.
God Beerus would begin to channel a little of his gigantic power to destroy the planet. However, at the moment, the whole sky would darken.
One moment, Mr. Beerus. At this moment, we're able to bring the Super Saiyan God. Just give us a little time. If that's caught my attention, I'll grant you a little time.
At the moment of being summoned Shenron, he was also surprised to realize the presence of the God of Destruction Beerus. So he'd begin to explain how to invoke the Super Saiyan God, since the warrior as such had disappeared millions of years ago. That means that in order to summon the Super Saiyan God, they require 5 Saiyans to grant the power to another Saiyan.
It's time to do it. Gohan's wife's pregnant, so this can work.
All the warriors would hold hands, so they started with the great ritual of the Super Saiyan God. Being Goku the chosen one, that's right, at the moment, the power of the 5 would begin to flow through his body, with which his power would begin to grow in a surprising way, to the point of disappearing from the perception of mortals, since Goku had been able to access the state of the Super Saiyan God.
That's the power of a god. So after all, it's been worth the wait.
Indeed, Mr. Beerus, that is the power of a Saiyan God. Goku would expel all his power in his new state, leaving everyone surprised by the incredible presence he had, since his fur was of a silver color, while an incredible pressure was felt by everything around him. The Saiyan God state has been a complete madness because the essence he was releasing would surprise all the deities present. So instantly, even Beerus was forced to use 28% of all his power, which had already exceeded his limit.
I can't believe much power I've been able to reach that mortal. He has even been able to force me to use much more power, and without having to fight.
Wow, the power that runs through my body is amazing. So, for this very reason, the gods possess absurd amounts of power. I feel that I'm able to beat anyone.
Apparently, he's shocked by the state of a god. But you better get ready, because right now I'll test your power.
Mr. Beerus, don't get complacent, as apparently the power of that Saiyan has risen in a surprising way. So much so that at the moment he's able to defeat it.
Don't say stupid things, Whis. It's true that it's been able to get an amazing power, but remember that I'm the most powerful god among the 12. I can't lose with a mortal.
Beerus, as a flash, had rushed against Goku, but to everyone's surprise, Goku was able to dodge him, staring at Beerus.
So with this move, you'll be able to hit me a few moments ago. How interesting. At this moment, I was able to see everything completely.
Goku, with a slight blow to the chest of Beerus, was able to cause incredible damage, so much that it would make him fall to the ground, vomiting large amounts of blood all over the floor.
What the hell? The hit he was able to give me was incredible. The power and precision are out of this world.
Beerus would stand up, but his internal energy would become very out of control.
No, damn. I have to control my internal energy because otherwise...
Beerus was able to release a large amount of destructive energy, though all of his energy veins, so at the moment, it was enough to control the energy flow again, because Goku's fist had been able to inject his Saiyan God energy.
I can tell that you have great control in the new techniques of the gods, but I want to see if you could do this against the true power of a god.
Beerus would begin to channel much more power, with which he was able to even make Goku retreat a few meters. So at the moment, Beerus, at a great speed, rushed again against Goku. However, Goku this time was able to block his blow, so both began to exchange thousands of blows all around. The battle of both would intensify to such an extent that they began to fight in the same way all over Universe 7, destroying inhospitable planets. The destruction they caused in the other universes will be evident. I have to create a barrier so that does not spread to universes 6 and 8. Whis, with the help of his staff, was able to create a great barrier throughout Universe 7, so that intense battle continues with the same rhythm. Beerus, moment, was able to connect an incredible blow on Goku's chin, sending him to a planet, destroying everything around him. Now Beerus, being about to say something, Goku with incredible speed was able to hit back, sending him the same way to a planet, but the planet on this occasion would be completely destroyed.
The blow you gave me was amazing, but I don't plan to give up, so right now I plan to end this battle.
Goku would expel much more power, with which, in all his great aura, a great Ozaru would be formed. That's right, Goku's power had been so great that an incredible Ozaru would be formed throughout the Universe 7.
This is the power of all my friends, and my own power. I'm not allowed to lose.
Ugh, that blow hurt me too much. But I don't plan to lose because I'm the most powerful god among all the gods. I'll show you all my power.
Beerus would instantly begin to expel his true power, which left Whis surprised. Mr. Beerus is planning to use his transformation for the first time. Even none of the gods know the transformation of Mr. Beerus, and he'll use it with Immortal. The power of Beerus would begin to rise in an unreal way, so much so that it would cause the entire Universe 7 to begin to tremble, because the power of Beerus was too great. At the pace of a great explosion of destructive energy, it was possible to observe Beerus in his new form, from which he radiated destructive energy.
I apologize for the delay. I'm just not used to using 100% of all my power. But are you ready?
Goku at this moment was unable to dodge the blow that Beerus was able to give him all over his face. The blow contained an incredible power that the planet in his path had been completely destroyed. Goku would be able to recover in one of the rubble, spitting out too much blood, while his energy veins seemed to explode.
I'm not able to fight with this power anymore. I feel like my whole body's starting to tear. This must be the price for using the power of a god.
What's happened? Is that all the Saiyan God can offer?
You're completely wrong. I'm still capable of beating you up.
The gaze of both warriors crossed. Launching into the attack, their battle was much more destructive. So Whis instantly would create a barrier for all the warriors of planet Earth who were affected by the simple pressure of the battle of both warriors, because the power of both was capable of ending their lives.
I can't believe the power Kakarot's been able to achieve. I likewise also want to achieve the power of the gods.
This is a nightmare. I'm sure that guy must have already used much more than 25% of all his power, so the battle must be over by now.
I agree with you, madame, but apparently neither of the two wishes to give up, so the battle will only be decided when one of the two falls.
I don't know who'll be the first to fall, because from Kakarot's expression, his body's about to collapse, but I don't know the limit of Mr. Beerus.
Like the warrior named Mr. Goku, Mr. Beerus is at the limit, since no one has ever forced him to use 100% of his combat form.
Damn it. I have to end this battle once and for all, because otherwise this wretch will be able to beat me.
In the next blow, I'll use all my power. If I miss, it'll be my defeat. But the planet Earth is already free of danger, since I have forced him to use much more power.
Instantly, both launched themselves with their maximum speeds, granting themselves an incredible blow. At that moment, both fell toward the planet on the verge of death. Since the last blow that both contained their maximum power, for this part Susano, who was watching everything that happened, was surprised since Son Goku's power had exceeded all his expectations.
I'll have to do it right now, since my power is much greater than that of an ordinary angel. Only Daishenkin's able to defeat me, but if I am able to absorb both warriors, I'm sure that my power will grow in an incredible way.
Whis would begin to heal Beerus, but with a great movement, he was able to dodge a kick that, if connected with him, would have knocked him out of combat, while instantly a surprising pressure would fall all over the planet Earth.
Damn, this is the worst moment a new enemy has appeared, but luckily I have one of the seeds that recover all the energies.
Vegeta was able to throw one of the seeds towards Goku, who, despite being on the verge of death, was able to eat one, healing all his wounds completely, as well as obtaining an incredible power increase, prostrating himself in front of that warrior.
Who the hell are you? Why are you trying to attack us when we're not able to defend ourselves? You're a coward.
It's a pity. I just wanted to not go through the suffering of the beating I'll give you, because if you're at 100% of your power, I'll have to beat him up to absorb you.
Did you say absorb me? You think I'll get sucked in so easily? Don't be deluded, because if you want to end my life, you'll have to be prepared to die too.
But without Goku being able to notice, the warrior with a seed and strength much more overwhelming than that of Beerus was able to hold him by the neck, completely neutralizing him to the ground.
You don't have the power required to do anything against me, so you better be prepared to form for my power.
But at that precise moment, Beerus in his combat form would throw an incredible blow at him. But the guy with his other hand was able to stop that incredible blow.
It will be better to wait your turn, since you will be part of my power, and not even your angel will be able to avoid it.
Susano with a few blows was able to send Goku flying to another planet, making him destroy mountains in his path, while he would begin to approach Beerus.
Who the hell are you? I could tell that you're not an ordinary person, but I'm not gonna form to your power. First, you have to end my life.
Beerus would throw himself against that warrior, but this time, despite the fact that Beerus' power was completely restored, he hadn't been able to do anything against him. Since his enemy was able to knock each of his blows, his powers were as distant as heaven and earth. Susano at the moment was able to summon an energy giant, which pounced against Beerus, and being a few centimeters away, several rays were able to trap his body completely. So at the moment, the giant would create a huge explosion, but before he's able to catch Beerus, Goku was able to hold him with his great speed, falling to the side of that gigantic explosion.
Mr. Beerus, are you alright?
But Goku would start vomiting huge amounts of blood all over the place.
Damn bug, you didn't have to do something so risky. He's almost able to finish both of us, but I appreciate it, although I don't know how the hell we'll be able to defeat him.
At the moment, among the flames of that great explosion, Susano would be getting to approach both warriors. While on his back, this same hell was able to represent itself, or rather, the soul of thousands of warriors who were part of his power.
This'll be your new home, so you better get started getting acquainted.
No, damn, I don't plan to be part of your power. I'll end your damn existence first.
Goku would pounce against the warrior, followed by Beerus. Despite being the two most powerful warriors of Universe 7, Beerus, the strongest god among the 12 gods, they were not able to face that imposing warrior, which would only take one of his arms to be able to completely neutralize him. So then, he would stop playing, taking both of them by the neck and crashing them against the mountains and rocks that were around them for a few moments. He would throw them, destroying everything around.
It is time. You're not even able to move anymore. At this moment, you will pass to form for all of my power.
Ah, damn it! Even the lost status of a Saiyan God, this will be our end.
Hell, I never thought that I'd be defeated by a warrior who doesn't even exercise the title of a god. You're a random being.
At the moment, a large portal would form in front of them, with which their powers began to be drained. But at that instant, their last hope would appear on the battlefield. That's right, Whis was able to manage to give an incredible blow on his face, sending him flying. It's time to fight. I have to be able to end this warrior's life.
But Whis, you being an angel can't meddle in the affairs of the gods.
This is a special case since I have been able to realize that the subject in front of us is about Susano, one of the first celestial beings, but having ambitions of wanting to overthrow the king of the whole Zeno-sama. They were considered fallen celestials.
Well, apparently you know something about my origin. But that won't save you from ending your pathetic life here now. So get ready, damn insect.
You better not get complacent, as the divine realm has changed since 5 million years ago, and at the moment you are not untouchable. At the moment, an angel and a fallen celestial began to exchange millions of blows all over the battlefield. However, inside Goku, the power of the Super Saiyan God had been able to merge with Son Goku completely. So at the moment, a new power was beginning to awaken in his body. Since, being a prodigy, he was able to perform feats that no other warrior was able to achieve.
Ah, I feel like my body's burning. I even feel like my blood is pumping much faster. My heart feels like it's gonna explode.
That's right, the internal system of Goku would begin to emanate a new power. On the other hand, the battle of both seemed to be very evenly matched. However, Susano would begin to increase his power, while Whis was already using 100% of all of his power. So in the course of the battle, Susano would begin to take the advantage. Susano, with a great blow, was able to send Whis flying, falling to the planet very badly injured. Hell, I thought after millions of years I'd be able to do something against him. Susano would begin to approach Whis with the intention of ending his life. But in all that place, a gigantic power had been perceived, even being so much that on this occasion the barrier that Whis had placed had been completely destroyed, being perceived his power by all the gods and beings of the Divine Kingdom.
Wow, whose incredible power is that?
Goku's power would continue to grow in an incredible way, destroying everything in its path. A gigantic power rumbled through the 12 universes, and this power was able to reach the realm of Zeno-sama, which would be surprised by the incredible power that was unleashed.
Daishaken, whose power is all that? The power he's releasing is capable of overshadowing the power of the angels.
Give me a moment, great Zeno-sama. This warrior's releasing all that incredible power.
That subject must be from another multiverse to carry that power from the weakest multiverse is complete madness. Daishinkan, with his mental power, found the information of Kakarot. His surprise would be more to realize that all his power had achieved more than 50 mortal years, which is crazy. Daishinkan's face represented terror. Daishinkan, what's wrong? Do you know who that gifted warrior is?
My lord, that warrior even falls short, since the warrior's a genius among geniuses. He's got to get power in less than a century.
What did you say? How long is that being learning to flow with the unnoticed of all the 12 universes?
I don't know, but apparently he's able to release all his power, realizing that his friends were about to die since
Daishinkan would instantly fall to the ground, recognizing the warrior in front of everyone else.
This can't be. The fallen archangels have sealed millennia ago. They're part of the children, but because their heart contains pure evil, they're not able to follow the orders of their respective gods.
Daishinkan, are these the angels of the 6 eliminated universes? It's not possible. We have not eliminated them, so not to break the balance. But in the seal we've sealed it, not even a king would be able to break it.
I agree with you, but for that reason, my impression is that we have to observe the battle that takes place, since the power of that guy named Kakarot's amazing.
Completely red in his eyes, watching Susano, who were able to incredible murderous tension he was releasing. At the moment, a large crust of ice was forming all around.
I'm surprised by this essence you're releasing. Not fighting, but not to control to face me, because even though you increase your power, you don't have control. Only to be a time bomb.
Kakarot, without saying anything, was able to plunge his fist into his stomach, sending him flying and destroying everything. Kakarot, without waiting for him to react, was able to throw an attack which would hit him squarely, leaving everyone surprised. The regeneration of his enemy was unreal. Not for anything to consider the fallen archangels, but while he was regenerating, Kakarot would see with the cold gaze of Whis. Damn, I don't know if he's conscious, but if his attacks in this state are on me, he'll be able to end my life. Kakarot would put his hand on his shoulder, transmitting a little of his energy, which would be able to heal all of his wounds. Please take care and protect my friends. I'll take care of him. Kakarot, in a flash, disappeared in front of Susano, who was able to regenerate, watching Kakarot with a little fear.
Damn it. Sealed by a million years, my power is not even 1/100th of my original. But I have to defeat an angel. I've never thought a mere mortal would be able to put me in trouble.
Susano began to give him millions of blows, but this executed a great power. Kakarot's body didn't move in the slightest. Susano would stop attacking. He would raise his gaze a little. Observing Kakarot's cold face, just the same, he was able to see an incredible beast. Seeing his transformation was called the Super Saiyan 10, or even the forbidden power beyond a Saiyan, which allowed his opponents to feel terror just by looking into his eyes.
No. This guy's not mortal. I have to be able to get along, or he'll be able to end my life.
Susano would try to escape, an act that surprised the deities, because even though his powers were able to cause emotion in their opponent, Susano's expression was one of terror.
Hey, Whis, how are you able to heal all of us on the verge of death? What's more is how did Kakarot get all that power?
Answering your first question, Kakarot was able to heal me, which is why I was able to heal you, even while I didn't know where he's able to get all that power from. Susano was very far away, but even if as a simple cockroach, Susano would fall to the planet. That's right, Kakarot executed a heavy technique that would cause him to focus on his enemy, which despite Susano's power wasn't able to do anything against him, crawling like an insect.
This can't be. I was supposed to be the top being. My power surpassing Daishinkan's.
You speak in a loud voice since I'm not able to hear it. What are you muttering?
I don't care about that power since you won't be able to surpass my generation. If you break me in 1,000 pieces, I'll rebuild myself.
That's interesting, since every time I test each of your skills, I hope that you'll be able to endure everything that I'll do to you.
Kakarot, a few centimeters away, would give a loud roar, mixing lightning, which would generate an incredible explosion to observe all over the place. While the smoke dissipated, he was able to see Susano, who on this occasion had large fractures all over his body, regenerating rapidly.
Heh, that's interesting. I'll be able to humiliate you before I end your life.
In the kingdom of the whole, Daishinkan with Zeno-sama were surprised to realize this power of that subject.
Even though Susano only has 10% of his power, or less, it should be enough to finish an angel with ease.
Indeed, who is this guy capable of humiliating him in such a way? Scares me the most is that you've informed me before their life cycle doesn't exceed a century, so even the gods train for millions of years.
I agree with you. Despite training for millions of years, they're not able to overcome their angels. This guy's able to overcome it in a matter of 50 years. It's amazing.
Returning to the battlefield, the entire place was red because the blood of the enemy was spread over the place. Kakarot's aura would grow, changing the place completely.
You definitely possess regeneration, but this time, even though I'll start to suffer from your energy drain.
Even though you have the ability to finish me, now your real hell begins. You should have told me your power is beginning to decrease.
Susano, using his power as well as his bravery, rushed against Kakarot, giving him millions of blows. He wasn't able to generate a single bit of damage. Kakarot held him by his head, destroying in his path, which had led him lying on the ground. Kakarot, with a powerful kick, ripped off his head, making his body fall to the ground.
I know you're still alive. You could regenerate, but look at this.
Kakarot, all over his arm, a great purple-colored energy would pulverize his body, which made Susano panic while regenerating his body quickly.
I have the power beyond the gods, so using destructive energy is easy for me. But with my current power, I have to take it to a new level. I'll be able to end your life completely.
Susano, knowing he'd die, would get on his knees begging for his life. Kakarot would hold him by his hair, giving him a blow to his stomach, completely crossing it.
The blow I've been able to connect with you will end your life completely. It doesn't matter, because right now, I'll end your suffering.
Kakarot would stretch out his hands, expelling destructive energy, pulverizing him, completely leaving nothing of him. Kakarot would come to his friends, but would fall out of combat, being held by the Prince of the Saiyans.
Wow, I'm surprised the power you've been able to get, but I won't let you surpass me. I'll also be able to reach such a state.
Whis, heal every one of Kakarot's wounds. If it hadn't been for him, every one of us would have died.
As you ordered, Mr. Beerus. Whis would finish healing Kakarot's wounds, being called the beings of the Kingdom of All, who would observe everything that happened.
Whis, Beerus, approach great Zeno-sama at this time.
As you order, Father, we'll be going to the Kingdom of Zeno-sama. Both deities at a great speed left for Zeno-sama's kingdom, being received by the great priest. Father, how long have I not seen you? Tell me, what is the reason you've requested our presence?
The reason I've requested is due to the incredible warrior in your universe. That power he was able to possess an archangel, which is incredible for a mortal who doesn't exceed the century of training. Whis would explain everything since his battle against Lord Beerus, just as he was able to access the state of a Saiyan God. But despite getting all that power, Beerus with Kakarot was able to defeat Susano, the fallen archangel. From what I understand, that Saiyan was able to be born with the power beyond a god, just like the power of an angel since his power overcame everything.
You're right, Father. The Saiyan of Universe 7 Kakarot possesses a pure heart, so he has no fear, none of the 12 universes.
I have to be able to realize that, but don't worry, because what we really want is to have him, with his incredible power, be able to put much more of a barrier on the seal of the fallen archangels.
I understand. Susano's been able to escape, maybe in the same way the other 5 archangels will be able to get out of that seal.
You're right. 5 warriors with a power that's able to surpass Susano will be able to destroy the entire multiverse.
Indeed, we'll have to ask Kakarot at this time to move towards the planet Earth. Both deities came to the planet Earth. There was a great banquet, to which Kakarot was able to defeat the warrior who almost eliminated the universe. But in the midst of this, the warriors Beerus and Whis would appear. Kakarot, the powerful king of all requests your presence, as well as your help, because the seal contained the 5 warriors even more powerful than Susano's cracked. With your great power, we should be able to contain it for all eternity.
That's unbelievable! Of course I'll help you! Let me get to that kingdom of the all!
The trio of warriors would leave, so instantly, Zeno-sama would stand in front of Kakarot.
I request your help. I, Zeno-sama, will grant you power beyond your limits, so you'll be able to seal them completely. I understand. I'll do everything in my power.
Kakarot would access the Super Saiyan 10, making everything around him tremble. Zeno-sama at the moment would expel a great power, sending it towards Kakarot's body. His muscular would groan in a great way, so Kakarot would stand in front of the seal, releasing all that power, being able to reinforce it, and closing the crack through which Susano was able to escape.
I thank you. You'll be remembered as a legend. No matter the millions of years that pass, you'll be remembered as the Saiyan who eliminated a fallen archangel. Kakarot would return to planet Earth with his friends, enjoying a banquet which would be joined by the deities of Universe 7.
At the precise moment that both Saiyan warriors, the shadow creatures, collided their attacks, the explosion resulting from the collision of the attacks left a crater on the battlefield, while a dense smoke obscured the view. Amidst the haze, Goku with a serious but confident expression, and Vegeta, also with a confident expression of having destroyed the shadow creatures with his attacks, stood on guard, ready to face whatever emerged from the smoke. Suddenly, as soon as the smoke dissipated from the battlefield, the shadowy creatures emerged unharmed, floating in the air with an even more intense presence. Their forms twisted, revealing an even darker and more powerful transformation. Now with eyes glowing with a more intense light, the shadow creatures uttered a great malevolent laugh and moved towards Goku and Vegeta with renowned ferocity. The sky was covered with dark clouds and lightning intermittently illuminated the scene. The creatures, once scattered, began to converge into a chaotic mass. Their bodies intertwined and merged, creating a monstrous entity that emanated a dark and malevolent aura. The fusion of the creatures was completed with a loud roar, and before Goku and Vegeta emerged, a nightmarish creature. The fused creature had a grotesque figure, with twisted limbs and glowing eyes filled with evil. Its body was enveloped in a halo of dark energy, which distorted the space around it. The ground shook with every step he took, and the waves of evil energy generated chaos on the battlefield. Goku and Vegeta exchanged determined glances. They knew they faced an unprecedented threat. The fusion of the creatures had given rise to a being of incredible power and speed. Goku frowned, clenching his fists, while Vegeta gave a cocky grin.
Kakarot, looks like things have become interesting. I didn't expect to have to face something like this.
Yes, Vegeta.
This creature's no joke. We're gonna have to give it our all.
Both warriors raised their ki to the maximum, surrounding themselves with an intense golden and blue aura. Their hair stood on end and the earth trembled under the pressure of their combined power. The fused creature responded with a guttural laugh and advanced towards them with great strides.
Come on, Vegeta. Let's attack together and put an end to this.
For once, Kakarot, I agree.
The battle reached its climax as Goku and Vegeta, enveloped in their golden and blue auras, launched themselves towards the fused creature. Every punch and burst of energy echoed through the air, creating a spectacle of flashes and booms. The creature, however, was not easy to defeat. Its agility and strength were astounding, dodging the Saiyans' attacks with ease.
Vegeta, we need to find an opening in its defense. Focus!
I know, Kakarot, but this thing's fast.
The fused creature responded with a ripping attack, sending the Saiyans flying across the battlefield. Goku and Vegeta, however, quickly recovered and stood up with renewed determination.
We can't underestimate this thing. Come on, Vegeta, let's attack together.
All right, Kakarot, together we'll defeat it.
Goku nodded and they concentrated their energies into an amazing combined attack. A brilliant flash of light and blue light materialized in their hands, growing with each second. The fused creature, seeing the imminent threat, tried to counterattack, but it was too late.
Kame! Ah! Final Flash!
The powerful beam of combined energy shot towards the fused creature, illuminating the dark battle with its radiance. However, just when impact seemed inevitable, the creature, in the last act of desperation, deployed a dark shield that managed to resist the Saiyans' assault. The result explosion sent Goku and Vegeta flying backwards, returning them to their base form, leaving them dazed and severely injured on the ground. The fused creature, though weakened, struggled to its feet, its malevolent aura flickering, but far from fading completely.
Vegeta, we're in trouble. This thing's stronger than we thought.
Vegeta, however, lay motionless on the ground with visible wounds and his aura rapidly diminishing.
Vegeta! Don't give up, Vegeta!
The fused creature, slowly recovering, calmly approached towards Vegeta with a palpable malevolence in its glowing eyes.
Your efforts are futile. I'm the amalgam of darkness itself. This is the end of you, Saiyan Prince.
Goku, full of rage and despair, stood up and threw himself towards the creature with what was left of his strength. However, the creature, with a simple wave of its hand, unleashed a wave of dark energy that enveloped Kakarot and threw him violently to the ground.
Vegeta, we need a plan.
The fused creature approached Vegeta, lifting him off the ground with one hand. The Saiyan Prince, barely conscious, opened his eyes to meet the cold, merciless gaze of his energy.
Kakarot, do whatever it takes.
The fused creature, with a contemptuous gesture, threw Vegeta back to the ground, leaving him on the verge of death. The battle, which had begun with hope, now became bleaker than ever. With his partner down and his own strength waning, Kakarot faced a strength that seemed insurmountable. Goku, sensing the desperation of the situation, recalled the hermit seeds he carried with him. The moment the fused creature came speeding towards him, Goku managed to dodge that blow swiftly, approached Vegeta and handed him one of the valuable seeds.
Vegeta, eat this! It'll give you the energy to keep fighting!
At the same time, Goku also consumed one of the seeds. Vegeta, barely conscious, accepted the seed and consumed it urgently. The hermit seed acted quickly, healing Vegeta's wounds and restoring his life energy. Flashes of golden light surrounded the Saiyan Prince. As he stood up, his eyes were gaining determination.
Kakarot, don't underestimate me. I can keep fighting.
Fine, Vegeta, but we need something else to defeat this creature. Do you remember the fusion technique?
Vegeta frowned but nodded in understanding. Both Saiyans positioned themselves in front of the fused creature, focusing their energies.
Vegeta, let's do it! Let's merge!
I don't think it'll come to this, Kakarot, but I have no choice.
Both warriors stood side by side, raising their hands into the front and began to concentrate their energies. The atmosphere was filled with a brilliant glow as the two Saiyans merged into a single entity. The resulting figure was a perfect combination of Goku and Vegeta, with a powerful golden aura enveloping their fused bodies. This fusion creature showed signs of unease as it witnessed the transformation. The new Saiyan entity turned to it with a determined look. The fusion between Goku and Vegeta, known as Gogeta, and his Super Saiyan form was now evident. Gogeta, with the combined voice of Goku and Vegeta, said, "Prepare for defeat. We're the fusion of the Saiyans, and there's nothing we cannot overcome." With a unified shout, the Saiyan fusion lunged towards the fused creature with incredible speed and power. The battle between the Saiyan fusion and the fused creature erupted into a frenzy of power and skill. Every move, every blow, every burst of energy shook the battlefield. The earth trembled under the intensity of the confrontation, and the sky lit up with the sparks of energy released during the fight. Gogeta, with a combination of Goku's cunning and Vegeta's determination, proved to be an unstoppable force. However, the fused creature did not yield easily, showing a resilience that defied expectations. Both contenders were at a stalemate, each pushing their limits to the max. Goku and Vegeta, in their fused form, began to feel the need to unleash more power to overcome their more formidable foe. In a moment of perfect synchronization, both Saiyans raised their ki to the limit, and the atmosphere itself began to be distorted with the built-up pressure.
It's time to take this to the next level!
In a dazzling flash, the Saiyan fusion underwent an astonishing metamorphosis. His once golden hair now turned sapphire blue, and his aura took on a heavenly hue. The transformation to Super Saiyan Blue had taken place. The fused creature recoiled momentarily as it witnessed the new form. Shocked by the magnitude of the power unleashed, however, the Saiyan fusion showed no mercy and lunged towards with dizzying speed.
Prepare for true Saiyan strength!
The attacks and counterattacks reached a speed that defied perception. The fused creature, despite its previous endurance, was outmatched by the speed and aggressiveness of the Saiyan fusion in its Super Saiyan Blue form. The battle had not yet come to an end. In a final attempt to resist, the fused creature unleashed its own dark power, enveloping the Saiyan fusion in a spiral of chaotic energy. Gogeta, in response, concentrated his energy to the maximum in an act of rage.
Let's go farther!
The energy surrounding the Saiyan fusion intensified and exploded in a dazzling burst. The bright blue aura became more intense, and the power of the Saiyan fusion increased to unimaginable levels. The sky lit up with glows and waves of energy as the fused creature faced Gogeta's unstoppable strength. However, in an unexpected twist, the creature began to build up a dark and sinister energy, revealing a hidden power.
Your resistance is impressive, Saiyans, but you have not seen my true potential.
The fused creature transformed, its fusion distorting further. A black aura filled with malevolence surrounded its body as its eyes glowed with terrifying intensity.
What the hell is it doing?
The fused creature, now imbued with a new dark power, lunged at Gogeta with surprising speed. Despite Gogeta's formidable strength in his Super Saiyan Blue form, the fused creature seemed to be able to anticipate even more.
Now you'll experience true darkness.
Gogeta sensed the threat, deciding to take his own power to the extreme. In a blink of an eye, he activated the technique, the Kaioken. His blue aura multiplied into a mixture of blue and red, and the intensity of the battle reached levels never seen before.
It's time to put an end to this! Kaioken!
Gogeta's speed and strength multiplied exponentially, and the fused creature was momentarily caught off guard. However, the creature counterattacked with a blast of dark energy that enveloped Gogeta, but he struggled to resist. Gogeta, in his Kaioken state, felt the need to raise his power even higher. Thus, his ki increased, causing the earth to tremble from such immense power, destroying mountains and lifting rocks into the skies. At that precise moment, he disappeared from the sight of the fused creature, appearing from behind and creating a glowing bluish sphere of energy that materialized between his hands.
Final Kamehameha!
The energy sphere impacted against the fused creature with unparalleled force. The resulting explosion lit up the sky, dispersed the creature's dark energy. However, when the light faded, the fused creature emerged once again, albeit visibly weakened.
Do not underestimate my power, Saiyans. I have attained a form beyond your comprehension.
Gogeta, sensing the gravity of the situation, prepared for the next confrontation. The battle, far from over, was entering even more dangerous terrain, with the fate of the universe hanging in the balance in this fierce struggle between light and darkness. The battlefield was plunged into utter chaos, with destructive shockwaves reverberating throughout space. Gogeta, with his combined aura of Super Saiyan Blue and Kaioken, was moving at speeds that defied perception. The fused creature, despite his new enhanced form, was momentarily outmatched by the Saiyan warrior's speed.
Darkness cannot defeat light! It's time to seal your fate!
Though weakened, the fused creature did not give up. With impressive speed, it lunged towards Gogeta, unleashing a series of dark attacks that even defied the Kaioken's speed.
Your light is but a fleeting glimmer. In the eternity of darkness, you will suffer.
Gogeta, with sharp reflexes at precise moments, will dodge the fused creature's attacks. The battle reached an even greater frenzy, with a clash of fists and kicks creating waves of energy that swept the surrounding landscape. The once dark and stormy sky were illuminated by the flashes on the contest. In the beginning of the moment of opportunity, Gogeta channeled the Kaioken to an even higher level. His aura became more intense, mixing blue with red in a dazzling display. Seeing the new burst of power, the fused creature recoiled momentarily, a moment Gogeta took advantage of to gather energy.
This is the limit of your darkness. Prepare for the end.
Gogeta, with unmatched speed, appeared in front of the fused creature, concentrating his energy to a single point. A glowing sphere of energy formed between his hands, but this time, the sphere was not blue, it was a mixture of colors. A fusion of the power of Super Saiyan Blue and Kaioken.
Kaioken 20 times! Final Kamehameha!
The now larger, more powerful energy sphere hurled with impressive speed towards the fused creature. The resulting explosion illuminated the entire horizon, causing the mountains and valleys to be enveloped in a dazzling glow. When the light faded, the fused creature lay defeated on the ground. Its dark aura completely dissipated. Gogeta, with his Super Saiyan Blue form and Kaioken still activated, watched cautiously. The intense battle had come to an end, but the price of the confrontation was reflected in the devastated earth and the wear and tear visible on the Saiyan warrior.
I hope that was enough. This universe can't take any more of this destruction.
With a flash, Gogeta deactivated the Kaioken and returned to his base form. As silence descended over the battlefield, The lingering question was whether the threat had truly been eliminated, or if there was still challenges to be faced in the vast cosmos. Goku and Vegeta, feeling that the threat had been neutralized for the moment, separated from the Saiyan fusion. The intensity of the battle had left both Saiyans exhausted, but their attention was diverted to a disturbing reality. In the corner of their vision, they watched as a small dark creature made its way towards where Gohan and Broly were standing.
Vegeta, something's happening! We must get there fast!
Those two are in trouble if that thing gets to them. Let's go, Goku.
Both Saiyans, despite their exhaustion, dashed towards Gohan and Broly's location with as much speed as possible. As they approached, they could see the dark creature getting closer and closer to the two warriors. Gohan, who was training with Broly in an attempt to increase his skills, noticed Goku and Vegeta's arrival urgently.
Dad! Vegeta! Something's coming!
Broly, with his piercing gaze, had also sensed the approaching threat.
Evil creature, we will fight.
The small dark creature, noticing the presence of the Saiyans, stopped advancing and displayed a malevolent laugh.
Ha ha ha! Your victory was short-lived. This is only the first of many surprises.
Before they could react, the dark creature split into multiple smaller shadows, surrounding Gohan and Broly with astonishing speed.
Watch out, Broly! They're fast and dangerous!
We will fight. We won't let them defeat us.
Goku and Vegeta, arriving just in time, joined the battle. The battle became a chaotic dance of blows and explosions as the Saiyans fought the dark shadows that multiplied endlessly.
Let's finish this quickly. Gohan, Broly, stay strong.
Got it, Vegeta!
Broly, unleashing his titanic power, emitted a wave of energy that temporarily dispersed the dark shadows. However, the dark creature, in a final act of desperation, merged back into a larger, more powerful form.
My shadows cannot be so easily defeated. The real battle has just begun.
The shadow creature, now strengthened and more menacing than ever, faced the four Saiyan warriors with palpable malevolence. Gohan, Broly, Goku, and Vegeta moved into battle stance, facing the shadow creature with determination.
Come on, guys! Let's work together and put an end to this menace once and for all!
Broly growled in agreement, his power emanating from him with an imposing force. Goku and Vegeta, despite their earlier exhaustion, raised their energies ready for the battle ahead. The shadow creature, with a sinister laugh, lunged towards them with surprising speed. The Saiyans responded with a coordinated assault, launching energy blasts and performing combo attacks. However, the shadow creature was agile and dodged their attacks with ease.
We can't let this thing get away. Concentrate on attacking together.
You're right, Vegeta. If we fight them as a team, we can overcome anything.
The four Saiyans synchronized their movements, attacking in harmony. Broly unloaded titanic blows. Gohan used his agility and advanced techniques, while Goku and Vegeta coordinated their energies to create a combined assault. Despite their efforts, the shadow creature proved to be resilient and adaptable. It defended with cunning and counterattacked with fury. In a moment of tension, the shadow creature unleashed a dark glow that enveloped its form, transforming to an even more powerful and monstrous version.
It's getting stronger again!
It doesn't matter. I'll destroy it.
The battle intensified as the shadow creature and its enhanced form launched waves of dark energy and unleashed more devastating attacks. The Saiyans, however, did not back down. Despite the gravity of the situation, their determination burned stronger than ever.
There's no limit to our strength when we fight together! Come on, guys, we can't lose!
This thing doesn't know who it's messing with. Get ready for what's coming.
Gohan, Broly, Goku, and Vegeta channeled their energies to the maximum, shaking the earth under the intensity of their combined power. In a unified act, the four Saiyans raised their ki to the limit and lunged towards the shadow creature with indomitable resolve. The shadow creature, now in its strengthened form, unleashed a dark energy that enveloped Broly, possessing the mighty Saiyan with a malevolent influence. Broly, his eyes now awash with shadows, stood before the other Saiyans with a menacing presence.
Broly, I won't let you be used as a puppet. We must save him. We won't let this thing manipulate Broly. Come on, guys, let's protect ourselves and save our friend.
This is getting more complicated than I thought. But no matter, we won't let the darkness win.
The battle began with the shadow creature using Broly's immense power against them. The controlled Saiyans' attacks were fierce, with waves of energy and bursts of ki that challenged even the most experienced warriors. The Saiyans dodged and counterattacked, but the shadow creature took advantage of Broly's brute strength to counter his moves.
We must weaken it enough to free Broly! Dad, Vegeta, let's follow the plan and attack in unison!
The three Saiyans coordinated, launching a series of swift and powerful attacks. However, the shadow creature moved with agility, dodging most of the blows and countering with blows of its own. Broly, under the influence of the Dark Possession, was showing superhuman endurance.
It's not enough! Broly, fight against this influence!
We must force him to break free. We're gonna give it our all.
In a moment of desperation, the Saiyans decided to raise their powers to the maximum. Goku transformed into Super Saiyan second stage, Gohan advanced his mystical form, and Vegeta unleashed his own power into Super Saiyan second stage. The three Saiyans surrounded Broly, launching a combination of flurry of powerful attacks.
Broly, resist! Don't let their darkness consume you!
The shadow creature, feeling the combined presence of the three Saiyan warriors, showed signs of weakness. However, in a desperate act, the dark energy intensified its hold on Broly, raising its power even higher and unleashing unbridled fury.
We can't give up! We're going to free Broly, whatever it takes!
The battle reached its climax as the three Saiyan warriors, Goku, Gohan, and Vegeta, clashed against the shadow creature possessing Broly. The unleashed energy created a spectacle of flashes, explosions, and shockwaves that shook the battlefield. Goku, with his power as a Super Saiyan, moved with astonishing speed, launched energy blasts and accurate punches at the shadow creature. Gohan, in his mystical form, unleashed a combination of fast attacks and advanced techniques, seeking to weaken the dark possession that controlled Broly. Vegeta, in his Super Saiyan second phase form, displayed titanic power, coordinating his attacks with calculated precision.
Broly, listen to my voice! Don't be consumed by this darkness!
The shadow creature, however, resisted tenaciously, harnessing Broly's brute strength and ferocity to counter the Saiyans' attacks. Broly, under the dark possession, responded with unstoppable strength, his attacks more intense and uncontrolled.
We need to weaken that possession! Come on, guys, keep up the pressure!
This dark power won't last forever. We must resist.
The battle grew more frantic. With each passing moment, the shadow creature, sensing the threat of the Saiyans, intensified its hold on Broly, fusing its dark energy with the brute strength of the legendary Saiyan.
We can't back down now! Broly's our friend, and we won't let this darkness control him!
In a moment of perfect synchronization, the three Saiyans focused their energies into a coordinated attack. Goku launched a Kamehameha, Gohan unleashed a Masenko, and Vegeta fired a final flash, all aimed at the shadow creature. The resulting explosion illuminated the battlefield, creating an energy storm. However, when the light faded, the shadow creature and Broly still stood, visibly weakened but far from defeated.
It's not enough! We must find a way to free Broly from this possession!
At that moment, the shadow creature, taking advantage of the Saiyans' momentary weakness, launched a surprise attack, sending Goku and Gohan to the ground. Vegeta, with his rage in his eyes, stood up determined.
Enough's enough! We won't let this thing continue to manipulate Broly.
Vegeta concentrated his ki to the maximum, unleashing a new transformation. His intense blue aura transformed into an even brighter and more powerful hue.
Super Saiyan Blue!
The atmosphere itself seemed to tremble at the magnitude of the transformation. Vegeta, now in his evolved form, launched himself towards the shadow creature with renewed speed and power. Vegeta's transformation in Super Saiyan Blue Evolved caused a dramatic change in the intensity of the battle. His bright blue aura flashed with overwhelming energy as he charged towards the shadowy creature and Broly, who was still under his influence.
It's time to put an end to this. Broly, I'll fight to free you from this darkness.
The shadow creature, sensing the threat posed by Super Saiyan Blue, adopted a defensive stance. On the other hand, Broly, his eyes still darkened, prepared to face Vegeta. Vegeta unleashed a flurry of quick and precise attacks, combining punches and kicks with astonishing speed. Each move was charged with the strength of the new form, and the shadow creature was forced to retreat in the face of Vegeta's fury.
Broly, regain control. I'll not allow this darkness to consume you.
Broly, under the influence of the dark possession, responded with impressive stamina. His attacks were brutal and uncontrolled, but Vegeta moved with a dexterity that defied expectations.
I need to find an opening in this possession.
In an act of bravery, Vegeta launched himself directly towards Broly. Their fists collided forcefully, and Vegeta, using all his skill, made precise strikes that temporarily weakened the dark influence.
Broly, fight this! You're stronger than this darkness!
The shadowy creature, seeing Vegeta's resistance, increased his energy and fused even more with Broly. Now the dark influence was more entrenched than ever, and Broly unleashed an explosion of wild power.
You can't stop me, Saiyan Prince!
Vegeta, not backing down, continued to engage Broly. The battle reached new heights as both warriors unleashed their most powerful attacks. Vegeta launched a Big Bang attack while Broly responded with a gigantic charge of dark energy. The collision of energies generated a huge explosion that blanketed the area. After the dust settled, Vegeta lay on the ground, clearly exhausted but not giving up.
I can't lose. My determination's stronger than your darkness.
The battle between Vegeta and Broly, who was possessed by the shadow creature, reached a critical point. The overflowing energy of the confrontation was spreading across the battlefield, distorting the air and creating palpable tension. At that crucial moment, Goku found himself regaining consciousness, stood up, and immediately went to Saiyan's Prince's side.
Vegeta, let's go! Let's give it all we've got!
Goku's transformation into Super Saiyan Phase 2 and joined the fray. The shadow creature, seeing the arrival of another Saiyan warrior, prepared to face the new threat.
Kakarot, you're just in time. This thing has gotten stronger with Broly.
We'll face it together! Broly, we won't let this darkness control you!
The three Saiyans stood in formation, ready to deal with the shadow creature fused with Broly. The intensity of the conflict increased even more, with flashes of energy and clashes of fists echoing throughout the battlefield.
Come on, Kakarot, let's attack in unison and free Broly.
I got it, Vegeta! Together, we'll free him!
The Saiyans coordinated their attacks, launching a combined blast towards the shadow creature. Despite their efforts, Broly's dark possession was still resisting, fueled by the brute strength of the legendary Saiyan. Broly, under the influence of the shadow creature, unleashed an uncontrolled fury. His attacks were unpredictable and devastating, putting the Saiyans on the defensive. Goku, Vegeta, and the shadow creature continued to exchange energy blasts and powerful blows.
Vegeta, we must break that possession! We can't let Broly fall into darkness!
Roger that, Kakarot. Let's keep attacking together.
Amidst the chaos of the battlefield, the fiery aura of the Saiyans lit up the sky, a visual manifestation of their mammoth power. Goku and Vegeta, feeling the weight of the battle, decided to take it a step further. They joined their energies in a symphony of power, a final bid to tear apart the shadows enveloping the evil presence. The shadow creature on the brink of the abyss responded with desperation. It raised its own power, and the darkness churned with intensity as it struggled to resist the combined onslaught of the Saiyans. The clash of energies created a cataclysm of flashes and booms, shaking the battlefield to its core. At that critical moment, the energy explosion was unleashed with dazzling magnificence. The earth shook, and the shockwaves swept across the landscape, leaving behind a trail of destruction. Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, enveloped in the blanket of the explosion, were momentarily eclipsed by the blinding light and dancing shadow. When the shimmering luminosity faded, the Saiyans found themselves faced with a new scenario. On the ground lay Broly, his figure shrouded in a residual haze of the contest. The dark aura that had consumed him had finally dissipated. Stillness reigned on the battlefield. As the warriors approached with worried looks, the formidable warrior who now resisted, his power darkened, finally silenced.
We did it, Vegeta! Broly's free!
Yes, but this shadow creature's still a problem. We can't let our guard down.
Vegeta nodded grimly as they watched Broly, who lay on the ground, slowly recovering from the intense battle. However, at that moment of apparent calm, the shadow creature, cunning and unnoticed, had left Broly's possession to seek a new host. The dark entity swiftly swept into the shadows, unnoticed by the Saiyans, who still assessing their companion's condition. Silently, the shadow creature crept towards Gohan, who had been watching the battle from a distance. Gohan, oblivious to the threat looming over him, felt a shiver run down his spine, just as the shadow creature enveloped him with its dark presence. A momentary flash of its eyes indicated that something was terribly wrong. At that instant, Gohan, with a sudden alteration in his expression, went on guard without warning. His gaze, now posed by the shadow creature, glowed with a malevolence that contrasted with his gentle nature. Goku, noticing the sudden intention, turned towards Gohan, but before he could react, Gohan, under the influence of the shadow creature, moved with supernatural speed. The confrontation with Broly had left the Saiyans exhausted, and the shadow creature, seizing the opportunity, vanished into the darkness along with Gohan. Vegeta, realizing the situation, gritted his teeth in fury. The threat persisted, and now Gohan, a valuable ally, was in the hands of the shadows. Goku and Vegeta, despite their exhaustion, prepared for a new confrontation, aware that the battle had not yet come to an end. The tension in the air was palpable, as Goku and Vegeta, still worried about Broly, with determination, turned towards the place where the dark entity had vanished.
Damn it, where'd that thing go?
I don't know, Vegeta, but we must find it before it hurts Gohan.
The two Saiyans, quick as the wind, rushed towards where Gohan had been standing, their senses alert. The shadow creature, now inside Gohan, emerged from the shadows with a sinister laugh.
Ha 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 ha! Looks like they're not as cunning as they thought. Now I have a new toy for my plans. Get out of Gohan, you damn creature!
I'll not allow you to possess my son!
Ha! You think you could stop me? My power possesses even more of your combined forces. Do not underestimate the Saiyans. We have overcome greater challenges than you.
Leave Gohan and face your fate, creature. You'll not be victorious.
The shadow creature, now in control of Gohan, smiled malevolently before responding.
We'll see how long you can resist. Gohan is now an instrument of my will.
The shadow creature possessing Gohan unleashed a burst of dark energy that distorted the surrounding space. Goku and Vegeta suddenly found themselves during a chaotic confrontation, with Gohan now transformed into an instrument of the malevolent entity. The waves of energy radiating from Gohan's possessed figure created an ominous aura that filled the battlefield, defying the Saiyans' endurance and determination. The Saiyans, in their Super Saiyan Blue form, prepared for the impending clash. The shadow creature, using Gohan's body, moved with supernatural agility, dodging the Saiyans' first attacks with grace and malice. Gohan, his eyes now filled with darkness, lunged at Goku with astonishing speed. Goku blocked Gohan's first few blows with difficulty, feeling the enhanced strength and speed of his new controlled son. The fight was intense, each move charged with power and ferocity. Meanwhile, Vegeta positioned himself strategically, assessing the situation, looking for an opening to attack. The shadow creature, through Gohan, unleashed a flurry of attack, which devastating blows that kept Goku on the defensive. However, Goku's ability to adapt quickly to the battle allowed him to counter the attacks and counterattack with his own overwhelming power. Vegeta, sensing an opportunity, lunged at the shadow creature from an unexpected angle. However, the dark entity had sharp reflexes and deflected Vegeta's attack with ease, throwing Gohan against Goku as a distraction. The Shadows creature's strategy paid off, as it took advantage of the distraction to hit Vegeta with a beam of dark energy. Vegeta, although he resisted the impact, was momentarily weakened. The entity, now with a malevolent smile, turned to him.
Damn it! This isn't over, shadow creature.
Goku, reacting quickly, stepped between the shadow creature and Vegeta.
Vegeta, hold on! We can't let this thing divide us.
The shadow creature, enjoying the chaos at its zone, released a dark aura that enveloped both Saiyans. The dark energy sought to confuse and weaken their senses. However, the Saiyans' instinctive connection to Ki enabled them to resist the dark influence. The battle raged in a frenzy of clashing colors and energies. Gohan, controlled by the shadow creature, moved with a mixture of speed and agility that defied the laws of physics. Goku and Vegeta, each focusing on their own battlefront, were trying to coordinate their attacks to free Gohan from the dark possession.
Gohan, fight this darkness! You're stronger than this!
Gohan, though showing flashes of resistance, was caught in an internal struggle between his will and the shadow creature's control. The battle grew more challenging. With each passing second, the shadow creature reveled in its ability to manipulate and corrupt one of Earth's mightiest warriors. Vegeta, recovering from the earlier onslaught, threw himself back into the fray. The shadow creature, however, anticipated his attack and gracefully dodged Vegeta's attempts to strike it. The dark entity counterattacked with a series of precise blows that forced Vegeta to retreat.
You damn shadow, don't underestimate the prince of the Saiyans.
Goku, seeing his partner's difficulty, raised his power to the maximum. Dazzling energy emanated from his Super Saiyan Blue form as he prepared for a concentrated attack. The shadow creature, noticing the glowing threat, diverted its attention to Goku.
Vegeta, keep up the pressure. I'm gonna concentrate my energy to free Gohan.
Vegeta nodded and increased his offensive, distracting the shadow creature as Goku concentrated his power. The fight reached a new level of intensity, with each move echoing across the vast battlefield. The energy collided, creating shockwaves that distorted reality itself. Goku, eyes glowing with determination, unleashed his most powerful attack. A sphere of glowing blue energy formed in his outstretched hands. Charged with the combined strength of the Saiyans, the spear grew in size and the power as Goku had held it in place.
It's time to free Gohan!
The shadow creature, realizing the threat, moved quickly to stop Goku's attack. Vegeta, taking advantage of the distraction, lunged with renewed fury, looking for an opening to attack. The battle reached its climax when Goku released the energy sphere, ascending it directly towards the shadow creature. The energy sphere burst into a dazzling flash, illuminating the battlefield with intense light. Shockwaves swept through the darkness as Goku's purifying energy sought to free Gohan from the shadow creature's possession. However, as the light faded and the earth stopped shaking, the shadow creature emerged seemingly unharmed. The dark entity, now irritated, turned to the Saiyans with a twisted laugh.
Is that all you can do? My power is unbreakable.
Goku and Vegeta, despite their exhaustion, prepared for the next assault. The battle, far from ending, dragged on into confrontation of epic proportions. Darkness and light collided in an endless clash, with the will of the Saiyans resisting against the entity that threatened to plunge them into the shadows. The dark creature, after resisting Goku's powerful attack, showed a malicious smile. A dark glow enveloped Gohan, and his body began to tremble with intensity. A guttural scream echoed through the air as the dark entity forced a unique transformation on the Saiyan warrior. Gohan, under the shadow creature's influence, contorted and his body was enveloped in a dark, feral energy. The earth trembled with the intensity of the transformation, and Gohan's figure began to change. Defined musculature, red eyes, a wild gaze, long gray hair, and emerging in the new form, Gohan Dark Beast. Vegeta and Goku, shocked by the unexpected evolution, instinctively recoiled from the overwhelming presence of Dark Gohan Beast. The shadow creature had accomplished what it could not do with Broly, unleash a unique and uncontrolled transformation on Gohan. Dark Beast Gohan, now freed from any hint of rationality, roared skyward, emitting an overwhelming energy that shook the battlefield. His eyes glowed with an animalistic intensity, and his posture indicated that human control was suppressed.
This can't be happening. What did that thing do?
The shadow creature managed to unlock something inside Gohan. This won't be easy.
The shadow creature, pleased with the success of its manipulation, watched the scene with satisfaction.
Now, witness my true power. The Saiyan Beast Warrior. How do you plan to stop him?
Dark Beast Gohan let out a deafening roar and lunged towards Vegeta with impressive speed. Dark Beast Gohan's attacks were ferociously savage, his brute strength and speed surpassing even Broly's most rampaging transformation. Vegeta, using his speed and agility, dodged Dark Beast Gohan's first attacks. However, the Saiyan Beast Warrior's ferocity was unpredictable, and Vegeta was forced to deploy all his skill to stay out of range of the devastating attacks. Goku, assessing the situation, transformed into Super Saiyan Blue and rushed to Vegeta's aid. The two Saiyans fought in tactical coordination, looking to open an opportunity to counter Gohan's savage new form. The battle became a whirlwind of energy, with explosions and crashes echoing across the battlefield. The shadow creature in the shadows continued to manipulate and fuel Dark Beast Gohan's fury. The Saiyan strategy was becoming more and more challenging as Dark Beast Gohan seemed to be one step ahead, anticipating their moves.
Damn it! Gohan Beast is too unpredictable.
We must find a way to free Gohan from this transformation. We can't let the shadow control his true power.
As the Saiyans faced Gohan Beast's fury, the shadow creature watched from the shadows, enjoying the chaos he had unleashed. The situation was becoming more critical with each passing moment, and the Saiyans' endurance was being tested in the face of Beast Gohan's uncontrollable fury. The battle raged on in a titanic struggle between light and darkness, with the hope of freeing Gohan from the influence of the shadow creature hanging in delicate balance. The Saiyans, determined to overcome this challenge, faced an enemy that had managed to unleash an even greater internal threat than before. While the intense battle raged on the battlefield, Piccolo, the Namekian sage, was immersed in his mental training somewhere secluded. His concentration was so deep that he could feel an abrupt shift in ki, a disturbance that reverberated through space and time. A shiver ran down his back, indicating the gravity of the situation.
Something's not right.
The Namekian instantly stood up, his cloak billowing as he focused on the direction of the glowing chaos. The power he felt was not just brute force. It was an amalgam of dark energies that seemed to defy the very essence of reality. Wasting no time, Piccolo prepared to approach this side of the conflict. Back on the battlefield, Goku and Vegeta fought valiantly against Dark Beast Gohan, who moved with uncontrollable ferocity under the influence of the shadow creature. The dark entity, sensing Piccolo's arrival, smirked.
Looks like we have a new guest. This just gets more interesting.
Goku and Vegeta focused on Gohan Beast, noticing Piccolo's presence as he appeared on the battlefield with a serenity that contrasted with the surrounding chaos.
What happened here? What have you done with Gohan? That shadow thing possessed Gohan and transformed it into a wild beast.
We can't free Gohan this way. The shadow creature manipulates his power in unimaginable ways.
Dark Beast Gohan, noticing Piccolo's arrival, turned to him with wild eyes. The shadow creature, enjoying the chaos, prepared for the next act of this heartbreaking play.
Welcome, Piccolo. You're just in time to witness the inevitable downfall of these Saiyans. Don't underestimate the Saiyans or my determination. I'm here to free Gohan.
The Namekian braced himself for the confrontation, deploying his ki with an intensity that made it clear he would not be a mere spectator in this battle. Dark Beast Gohan, fueled by the shadowy influence, roared and lunged towards Piccolo with a speed that defied all logic. The battle became even more chaotic with Piccolo's entrance. His movements were precise and calculated, contrasting with the wild ferocity of Dark Beast Gohan. Goku and Vegeta, aware of Piccolo's strategic skill, adjusted their approach to coordinate their attacks with the Namekian. Meanwhile, the shadow creature watched the battle with a Machiavellian smile, enjoying the confrontation between the forces of light and shadow. The dark entity was determined to prove that its influence was insurmountable. The fight unfolded in a whirlwind of colliding energies, with Piccolo demonstrating his tactical and strategic prowess. Dark Beast Gohan, however, remained a formidable challenge, his erratic movements and uncontrolled strength testing the tenacity of the warriors on the battlefield.
Goku, Vegeta, we need to plan to break the connection between Gohan and that shadow creature.
You're right, Piccolo. We need to attack from different fronts and destabilize that connection.
I'll take care of keeping Beast Gohan busy. Kakarot, you use the connection you have with your son to try to isolate the shadow creature.
Goku and Vegeta, coordinating their efforts with Piccolo's strategic expertise, went on the assault. Piccolo used his wisdom to be able to devise a way to get Dark Beast Gohan out of said possession, while Vegeta unleashed his fury with calculated attacks to keep the beast at bay. As the battle continued, the shadow creature began to feel the pressure of the combined strategy of the Saiyans and Piccolo. The connection between Gohan and the dark entity was under threat, and the shadow creature, despite its confidence, was beginning to show signs of concern. The battle was far from over, but the warriors' resilience was growing stronger in the face of the adversity that loomed over them. As Piccolo continued his mental struggle to free Gohan from the shadow creature's possession, his Namekian senses sharpened. Keen perception led him to identify a small shadow leech clinging to Dark Beast Gohan's lower neck, a detail that had not been evident in Broly's previous possession due to his long hair covering that region.
That's it. The key in this little shadow leech on his neck. We must eliminate it to free Gohan.
Piccolo's revelation attracted the attention of Vegeta and Goku on the physical battlefield. Vegeta, upon hearing this, turned his gaze to the back of Gohan Beast's dark neck and noticed the presence of the shadow leech.
A shadow leech? That explains why we couldn't free Broly this way.
How do we eliminate it without harming Gohan?
As Piccolo struggled to maintain his mental connection, he analyzed this situation and came up with a strategy.
If we attack the shadow leech directly, we might harm Gohan in the process. We need a precise way to eliminate it without endangering his life. So what's the plan, Piccolo? Goku, you've mastered Ultra Instinct, but you can only maintain it for a few seconds. We need to take advantage of those brief moments to distract Dark Beast Gohan and allow you to get close enough to destroy the Shadow Leech.
Understood, Piccolo. I'll do my best.
But how do we make sure Beast Gohan doesn't attack while Kakarot's approaching? That's the tricky part. We need to keep Gohan busy and distracted. Vegeta, your attacks must be precise and constant, keeping his attention on you.
I will, but Kakarot, don't make me regret this.
The battle resumed with renowned intensity. Vegeta went on the offensive, attacking Gohan Dark Beast with a series of swift and powerful blows. Gohan responded with ferocity, but Vegeta maintained agile, dodging his attacks while keeping the savage Saiyan warrior's attention. At that moment, Goku concentrated, channeling Ultra Instinct. An aura of flickering energy surrounded him as he activated the powerful transformation. His speed increased exponentially, allowing him to easily dodge Dark Beast Gohan's attacks.
Now, Goku, now's your chance.
Goku in his Ultra Instinct state moved with superhuman speed towards Gohan's rear. The shadow creature, still focused on the fierce confrontation with Vegeta, did not notice Goku's approach. This is my chance to end this! With pinpoint accuracy, Goku reached out his hand and touched the small shadow leech on Gohan's neck. The leech, upon being touched by the Ultra Instinct energy, began to fade, emitting a dark screech before dissolving completely. Dark Beast Gohan, losing connection with the Shadow Leech, shook violently, as if releasing himself from a trance. Vegeta, noticing the change, cautiously stepped back as Goku returned to his normal state. What happened?
Kakarot seems to have found a way to free you from that thing.
It was risky, but it worked.
Well done, Goku, but don't let your guard down. This shadow creature might have more tricks up its sleeve.
The immediate threat had been neutralized. The shadow creature, watching from the shadows, moving away unnoticed by the Saiyan warriors, was not about to give up, so the shadow creature set out to return to its master. After the terrifying moment that the Z warriors had experienced, Goku and Vegeta realized that Beerus and Whis were not on Earth. They had disappeared just moments before the shadow creatures appeared on Earth. This is because Daishinkan discovered that Zeno-sama had been killed by his father and immediately summoned all the angels and gods of destruction. In the majestic realm of all, Daishinkan, the high priest, summoned all the angels and gods of destruction of the existing universes. The atmosphere in the hall was unusually tense, and concern was reflected in the faces of those present. Daishinkan, with his usual calmness, prepared to share the disturbing truth he had discovered.
Angels and gods of destruction, the time has come to face a powerful truth. Zeno-sama, our beloved king of all, has been slain.
Silence fell over the hall. The angels and the gods of destruction exchanged looks of disbelief and dismay. No one expected that such a tragedy could occur, especially at the hands of someone so powerful.
My investigation revealed that the one responsible for this abominable act was Zeno-sama's own father.
The news resounded like a somber echo in the room. Everyone present processed the shocking revelation. The omnipresent figure of Zeno-sama, the supreme deity, had been shattered by his own protagonist. Mohito, Sidra's angel, spoke in a worried voice. How is it possible that a being as powerful as Zeno-sama's father could have committed such an act?
That is a question for which I still have no answers. But now we must face the consequences of this event. The stability of the multiverse is in danger.
Arak, the god of destruction of Quitella, asked,
"And what measures will we take in the face of this threat? What'll happen to the throne of Zeno-sama?"
That is a question we must discuss and resolve. For now, the throne remains empty, and our duty is to maintain peace and balance. But before we make hasty decisions, we need to fully understand the magnitude of this situation.
Beerus and Whis prepared to inform the gods of destruction and angels of all universes about what they had witnessed while on planet Earth with Goku and Vegeta. The hall of the realm of everything was filled with celestial beings, each one expectant and worried about the news they were about to receive.
Attention everyone! We have crucial information to share about the events that have been unfolded.
Before we are summoned here, the father of Zeno-sama appeared on all the planets of the multiverse. Surprise was reflected on the faces of those present. Murmurs and whispers filled the room, as the gods of destruction and angels exchanged looks of disbelief. His visit was not simply to report the death of Zeno-sama. He announced the holding of the tournament that would determine the survival of the planets in each universe. Additional rumors filled the room, creating a constant buzz of concern. The gods of destruction and angels wanted to understand the implications of such an announcement.
He informed the rules of the tournament and the intentions behind such a competition, but it's necessary that we all work together to get answers and face this threat. It is time to join forces and overcome this crisis. The fate of our universes is at stake.
As the gods and angels absorbed the gravity of the situation, in every corner of the hall of the realm of everything, conversations and plans were brewing to confront the mysterious tournament that threatened to upset the balance of the multiverse. Uncertainty hung in the air, but the determination of the divine beings was determined to face the unknown that lay ahead. In the Hall of Everything, Daishinkan, the High Priest, sensed the imminent arrival of extremely powerful entities heading for the different planets of the multiverse. His face reflected seriousness as he prepared to inform all the angels and gods of destruction present of the coming threat.
Gods and angels of destruction, the time has come to face a new and challenging threat. Entities of great power are headed towards the planets of our universes, and their goal seems to be a direct confrontation with the strongest warriors of each world.
The expressions of those present became serious. Aware of the gravity of the situation, Daishinkan continued with determination.
It's crucial that we move quickly to protect the strongest warriors of each planet, regardless of which universe they belong to. The threat we face does not respect universal boundaries, and we must act with unity to preserve the balance.
Vados, the Angel of Champa, raised his hand.
How do you plan for us to move, Daishinkan? We each have responsibilities in our universes. I understand the complexity of this situation, but the magnitude of this threat requires immediate action. I suggest that every angel and god of destruction move to the planets threatened by this unknown force. We must prevent the strongest warriors from being defeated before we can fully understand our enemies.
Sounds like a sensible plan, Daishinkan. If we all work together, we can protect our warriors and gain more information about these powerful entities. Each angel and god of destruction nodded in agreement, accepting the need to act immediately. They moved quickly to the various planets, casting aside universal barriers in a joint effort to safeguard the multiverse.
May the wisdom and power of each of you guide this effort. Let us not underestimate this new threat. Our duty is to protect the existence of our universes.
With those words, the angels and gods of destruction dispersed, leaving the Hall of All in preparation to face a challenge that transcended universal boundaries and demanded the collaboration of all divine beings. Uncertainty hung in the air, but determination to preserve the balance of the multiverse guided the powerful beings in their joint mission. The angels and gods of destruction quickly teleported to the threatened planets, each determined to protect the strongest warriors on the various planets. In the blink of an eye, the skies lit up with flashes of divine energy as Iwamo and Ewin, Cognac and Quintella, Matanu and Geen, Whis and Beerus, and the other angels and gods of destruction headed toward their assigned destinations. The planet Thraxis Nocturn lay peaceful in the corner of the cosmos, its nocturnal luminosity radiating a tranquility that was about to be disturbed. In the vast space, Iwamo the angel, with his small book in hand, and his god of destruction Ewin, an imposing figure with a stern gaze, detected the arrival of a shadow creature, a minion of Zeno-sama's father. The creature, shrouded in malevolent darkness, descended with malevolent determination towards Thraxis Nocturn. Ewin, without hesitation, deployed his energy of destruction while Iwano stood by, hoping to resolve the conflict without a bath of chaos. Creature, your darkness will not be tolerated in this realm. Stop your destructive plans. The shadow creature emanated a guttural growl, its presence emanating an unnatural energy that distorted the space around it. The space battle began with an explosion of opposing forces. Ewin launched destructive beams, while Iwamo used his speed to dodge the attacks and assess the situation. Ewin, this creature's stronger than we imagined. We must be cautious. I know, Iwamo, but we can't let him destroy Thraxis Nocturn. We must give our best. The shadow creature, agile and evasive, responded to the attacks with dark energy waves that distorted space. The battle spread across the firmament, leaving traces of destructive energy in its wake. Iwin tried to anticipate the creature's movements. However, the shadow creature proved to be agile and adaptive, countering every strategy with an unmatched dark force.
Our conventional methods don't work. Iwin, we need to combine our forces.
I agree, Awamo. It's time to show them the true power of destruction.
Awamo and Iwin merged their energies, creating a flash of light that defied the surrounding darkness. The shadow creature, perceiving the threat, intensified its own energy, generating a collision of cosmic forces that shook space itself. The battle reached a fever pitch, with cosmic explosions lighting up the scene as Awamo and Iwin struggled to contain the darkness. This struggle took place not only on the physical plane, but also on the spiritual one, where the will to protect Thraxis Nocturn was pitted against the ruthless ambition of the shadow creature. The fusion of Awamo and Iwin unleashed a dazzling energy that eclipsed even the nocturnal luminosity of Thraxis Nocturn. The gold and violet glow enveloped the divine couple as they prepared to face the dark threat looming over the peaceful planet.
It's time to show the true extent of our power, Awamo.
The shadow creature, aware of the growing threat, rushed towards them with supernatural speed. Awamo, with his keen perception, anticipated every movement of the creature, allowing the couple to dodge its onslaughts with heavenly elegance.
Keep calm, Iwin. We must synchronize our movements to counteract their darkness.
Iwin nodded and unleashed a series of destructive energy blasts that lit up the space around him. However, the shadow creature responded with amazing agility, dodging every attack with meandering movements. The battle became a cosmic game of strategy and speed. The angel Awamo and the god of destruction Iwin soon realized that in order to defeat this entity, they would need a coordinated attack that transcended the limits of their individual abilities. In a moment of perfect timing, they unleashed a gale of combined energy. Awamo channeled the energy of destruction while Iwin released violet flashes of destruction.
Focus your energy, Awamo. Let's get rid of this darkness once and for all.
Awamo nodded and joined the attack with determination. The fused energy of both angel and god turned into a spear of golden and violet light that pierced through space with an impressive speed. The shadow creature, caught in the torrent of power, let out a heart-rending howl as it was enveloped by the luminosity. The impact was abysmal, generating an expansive wave that shook the cosmos. The darkness that enveloped the creature began to dissipate, revealing its twisted and weakened form. Awamo and Iwin, exhausted but triumphant, stood on guard ready for any eventuality.
We have managed to contain their darkness, but we can't let our guard down.
The shadow creature, now visibly weakened, recoiled before the imposing presence of Awamo and Iwin. The light had prevailed over the darkness in the cosmic corner of Thraxis Nocturn. The divine couple remained firm in their duty to protect the planet that this creature wanted to destroy. However, the battle was not yet over, and the fates of the planets remained uncertain in the vastness of space. After the shocked combined attack of Awamo and Iwin, the space around Thraxis Nocturn was vibrating with the residual energy of the cosmic battle. The shadow creature, apparently weakened, remained suspended in the cosmic void, enveloped in a dark glow that seemed to absorb the surrounding light. The divine couple watched cautiously, aware that the fate of Thraxis Nocturn was still hung in the cosmic balance.
Iwin, something's not right. The darkness of that creature seems to be getting stronger instead of weaker. It seems that our attack has absorbed by her, but it shouldn't be possible. How can he transform our energy of destruction to his own power?
The shadow creature, now surrounded by a more intense aura, began to change its shape. Its twisted figure became more defined. His eyes shone with a malevolent lucidity. The darkness emanating from her was becoming denser, distorting the space around her.
You have underestimated my true potential, angel and god of destruction. Your energy has strengthened me beyond your comprehension.
The divine couple prepared for what was to come next, aware that the threat they faced had evolved. The shadow creature, now empowered by the absorbed energy, charged towards them with renewed speed and ferocity.
We need to be more cautious, Ewan. It seems that every blow we inflict makes her stronger.
Understood, Owamo, but we can't allow this darkness to devour Thraxis Nocturne.
The battle resumed with increased intensity. The shadow creature attacked with bursts of dark energy that cut through space, while Owamo and Ewan responded with flashes of golden and violet light. The cosmic dance of lights and shadows painted an epic picture in the vastness of the universe. Each blow and backlash echoed like thunder in space, distorting reality itself. Owamo, with his keen perception, tried to anticipate the movements of the dark creature, but the dark entity proved to be unpredictable. Ewan, with his energy of destruction, sought to weaken the creature, but his attacks seemed to be absorbed and turned into an additional source of power.
Every time we hit her, her power increases. We can't go on like this.
We must find a way to counteract his ability, to absorb our energy. Do you have any ideas, Owamo?
Owamo pondered for a moment, his angelic mind working in search of a solution. Meanwhile, the shadow creature, aware of its opponent's confusion, took the opportunity to launch a surprise attack. A wave of dark energy enveloped Owamo and Ewan, distorting their perception and weakening their defenses.
Your resistance is useless. I am the embodiment of darkness. His light cannot prevail before me.
The situation was becoming more and more desperate for the divine couple as they struggled to resist the shadow creature's attacks. Owamo turned his attention to the small book he always carried with him. An idea began to form in his mind.
Ewan, I think I have an idea, but we need to synchronize our attacks in a different way.
Explain yourself, Owamo.
Owamo explained his plan to Ewan, who nodded in understanding. Both God and Angel prepared to put their strategy into practice. The shadow creature, confident in its superiority, launched into the attack again, but this time Owamo and Ewan were ready to respond differently.
Now, Ewan, combine your energy of destruction with mine in a more controlled way.
Ewan nodded and channeled his energy to Owamo, who, in turn, merged it with his. Instead of launching a direct attack, they created a sphere of combined light and energy that floated between them.
Do you think this tactic will change the outcome? We'll see.
The energy sphere began to slowly expand, emanating a glowing light that contrasted the surrounding darkness. The shadow creature, curious but confident, watched the development with disdain.
The fused power is not only destructive, but it also has properties that counteract its absorption capacity.
The combined energy sphere, now reaching its maximum expansion, released a wave of light and energy that enveloped the shadow creature. This time, instead of absorbing the power, the darkness that characterized her began to dissipate.
What is this? My power should not be weakened. We create an energy that goes beyond destruction and creation, one that neutralizes the darkness that you're trying to absorb.
The shadow creature, weakened by Owamo and Ewan's strategic counterattack, retreated as the combined energy sphere continued to exert its effect. The light emanating from the sphere began to purify the darkness surrounding the entity, revealing its original form before corruption.
It seems our tactic's working, but we must make sure we contain it completely.
We can't let our guard down. Let's continue with the strategy until the creature's completely neutralized.
The space battle continued, but this time Owamo and Ewan had the upper hand. His sphere of combined energy continued to exert its purifying effect, dispelling the darkness that threatened Thraxis Nocturne. With each passing moment, the shadow creature grew weaker. The light of hope began to shine in the corner of the cosmos that was once on the verge of destruction. The shadow creature, weakened by Owamo and Ewan's strategy, retreated into space, its distorted form twisting as the combined energy sphere continued to purify the darkness that enveloped it. In a desperate attempt to regain his strength, the shadow creature began to explore its surroundings, looking for an opportunity to turn the situation in his favor.
My power is weakened here. I need to find a place where darkness prevails.
While exploring, the shadow creature noticed something that favored him. His eyes flashed with malevolent anticipation as he discovered that this world was called Thraxis Nocturne because it was a planet plunged into shadows. The dark entity smiled malevolently as he realized that this planet could provide the darkness needed to revitalize his power.
Ha 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 ha! Thraxis Nocturne, a feast of darkness awaits me!
With amazing speed, the shadow creature launched itself towards the planet, traversing space with great speed. Owamo and Ewin, aware of his intentions, followed closely, determined to stop any attempt by the shadow creature to plunge into the darkness of the planet. As the creature approached Thraxis Nocturne, the darkness of the planet seemed to intensify, as if responding to its presence. The planet's nighttime atmosphere shone with a faint luminosity, offering a fascinating contrast to the surrounding stars.
Ewin, we must prevent the creature from being filled with dark power. If she succeeds, it'll be even more difficult to stop her.
Understood, Owamo.
We'll not allow the darkness of this planet to fall into the hands of that entity.
The shadow creature descended on Thraxis Nocturne with a terrifying impetus. As she approached, the darkness seemed to take her in, enveloping her with a gloomy welcome. The shadow creature began to absorb the darkness of the planet, its twisted form vibrating with a new energy as it filled with the essence of Thraxis Nocturne.
Ha 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 ha! Yes, this darkness will strengthen me. Nothing can stop me now.
Owamo and Ewin, wasting no time, headed towards the shadow creature, determined to stop its advance before it became unstoppable. The battle in the shadows of Thraxis Nocturne was about to take a very drastic turn.
We cannot allow this darkness to completely corrupt this creature. We must stop her before she becomes invincible. Your previous strategy was effective, Owamo. Let's keep working together to counter his power.
Deep in the shadows of Thraxis Nocturne, the intense presence of the absorbing shadow creature did not go unnoticed by the most powerful warriors on the planet. Turles, Bardock, Radits, Frieza, and his brother Cooler felt the darkness increasing around them and, with a mixture of amazement and concern, headed toward the epicenter of the threat.
Something's not right. The darkness in this place is getting denser.
Whatever it is, we cannot let it threaten Thraxis Nocturne. Let's investigate.
The warriors moved nimbly across the gloomy terrain, advancing towards the source of the darkness. As they got closer, the atmosphere became heavier, as if the shadow itself wanted to resist their advance.
The darkness is different. I feel a strange pressure. I'm not afraid of the dark, but this is unusual. Cooler, stay alert.
Understood, Frieza. Let's find out what's going on.
Suddenly, a wave of dark energy erupted before them, revealing the shadow creature that was absorbing the darkness of the planet. His twisted figure and malevolent aura were as evident as the threat he posed to Thraxis Nocturne.
Warriors of this planet, his darkness feeds me. Soon I will be unstoppable.
We won't let you destroy Thraxis Nocturne. Get ready, creature.
The warriors went on the attack, each unleashing their unique power against the dark entity. Turles unleashed his evil aura, releasing bursts of destructive energy. Bardock channeled his Saiyan fury into powerful blows, while Raditz and Cooler coordinated their attacks to create a symphony of destruction. Frieza intensifying the struggle.
This creature doesn't know who he's up against.
Your resistance is useless. Each blow only increases my power.
The shadow creature, powered by the darkness of Thraxis Nocturne, absorbed attacks with defiant ease. Each impact seemed to strengthen rather than weaken it, plunging the warriors into the disturbing reality that they were facing an enemy that fed on its own darkness.
It's not working. He's getting stronger and stronger.
We need to change our strategy. We can't let it absorb all the darkness on the planet.
While the warriors struggled to find an effective strategy, the shadow creature, with its distorted laughter, continued to absorb the darkness, becoming more and more powerful. The Battle of Thraxis Nocturne's survival was at its most critical, and the warriors knew that they had to find a solution before the dark entity became invincible. The dark aura released by the shadow creature enveloped the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne, gradually weakening them. The warriors struggled to stay on their feet as the entity's malevolent energy infiltrated their bodies, obscuring their vital forces.
This is it. Too much.
I can't let that defeat us like this.
The warriors, despite their bravery, were overcome by the darkness emanating from the aura of the shadow creature. At that critical moment, when hope seemed to be fading, a heavenly light pierced the shadows. Owamo and Ewin, the angels charged with protecting Thraxis Nocturne, arrived on the battlefield.
The darkness emanating from this creature is breathtaking.
We cannot allow it to take over this planet. Time to show these warriors how to fight true darkness.
The angel spread his wings, and together with the god of destruction, they advanced towards the shadow creature, his presence radiating a luminosity that defied the malevolent nature of the dark aura. As it approached, the dark entities sensed the arrival of divine beings and turned to face the new threat.
More insignificant beings. His light will be devoured by my darkness. Don't underestimate the power of light. Darkness cannot resist the true essence of creation.
Owamo extended his hand, and a purifying light enveloped the battlefield, counteracting the dark effect of the creature's aura. Ewin, on the other hand, deployed the energy of destruction, creating a perfect balance between light and darkness. The shadow creature, for the first time, felt the pressure of forces that it could not easily absorb or resist. The conflict took a turn, and the battle became more intense as the angel and god of destruction faced the dark entity with a unique combination of light and destruction.
The real struggle starts now. We'll protect Thraxis Nocturn from the darkness you represent.
The fight between the angels and the shadow creature reached impressive levels, with bursts of energy illuminating the dark planet of Thraxis Nocturn. Meanwhile, the warriors, freed from the debilitating effects of the dark aura, watched the fight, hoping that their planet would not be destroyed. In the dark skies of Thraxis Nocturn, the stage was transformed into a cosmic battlefield, where divine light and malevolent darkness collided in an epic confrontation. Owamo and Ewin, the guardians of this planet, displayed their celestial power with a grace and precision that defied description. The glow of the purifying light emanating from Ewin and Owamo spread across the space, illuminating the shadows that the shadow creature was trying to grasp. Ewin and Owamo's every move was a ballet of divine energy, as they gracefully dodged the dark attacks encountered with unstoppable force. Owamo's wings shone with a resplendent light, like stars in the night, as he invoked the very essence of creation to repel the dark forces rising up against him. By his side, Ewin radiated an imposing presence, with his penetrating gaze fixed on the creature as it defying the darkness itself. The shadow creature, on the other hand, was fighting with an impressive ferocity, trying to resist the overwhelming power of Ewin and Owamo. Their dark attacks were launched like ravenous shadows, seeking to consume the divine light that surrounded them. However, every attack was countered by the impenetrable force of Ewin and Owamo, who remained firm in their purpose to protect the planet. The clash between light and darkness created a symphony of cosmic energy, with flashes of light and bursts of energy illuminating the firmament. The light will always prevail over the darkness. Your power is formidable, but it cannot resist the purity of creation.
You can't stop me. I'm the very embodiment of darkness.
Darkness can be powerful, but the real strength lies in balance, and we represent that balance. Ewin and Owamo continued to deploy their energy with amazing precision, creating light barriers that repelled the attacks of the shadow creature. Every movement of Ewin and Owamo was imbued with a divine elegance and grace, while the creature struggled with a desperate ferocity. Our mission is to protect the harmony of the universe, and that includes protecting this planet from your darkness.
You can't stop me. I'm inevitable.
The shadow creature launched waves of dark energy, but Ewin and Owamo easily repelled them, maintaining an opposing presence in the midst of battle. Every blow of Ewin and Owamo resonated with the force of creation, while the creature struggled more and more desperately. The darkness can be a challenge, but our determination's unwavering. We'll not let you destroy this planet. Your power may be formidable, but it cannot equal the eternal light of the universe. The battle continued with Ewin and Owamo and the shadow creature facing off in an epic clash between light and dark. In the midst of the struggle, Father Zeno silently watched from his kingdom, perceived the magnitude of the conflict. With an imperceptible gesture, he decided to intervene, taking Ewin and Owamo to a mental plane where they could confront the shadow creature in a terrain beyond the physical. In a flash of dazzling light, Owamo and Ewin were transported to an ethereal realm, where the laws of the universe twisted and blurred. Where are we, Ewin? We have entered the realm of the mind, a place where reality is molded according to the will of the observer.
Here the real battle be fought in the deepest corners of our being.
While Iwamo and Iwin were transported to a mental plane by Father Zeno, the shadow creature continued its fierce assault against the warriors of Thraxis Nocturn. Turles, Bardock, Radits, Frieza, and Cooler, the most powerful warriors on the planet, rose up against the darkness that threatened to consume their home. The shadow creature, imbued with a dark and malevolent aura, hovered over them with an overwhelming presence. He distorted his energy, enveloping everything around him, tearing reality itself apart, and threatening to plunge the planet into an abyss of chaos.
We won't let you destroy our home, shadow monster.
We, the warriors of Thraxis Nocturn, are not afraid of the dark.
We have faced much greater dangers than you, creature.
We will fight together to protect our world.
The shadow creature launched a powerful dark attack towards the warriors, but they responded with relentless ferocity. Turles, his eyes shining with determination, unleashed a shower of destructive energy, summoning the very essence of nature to channel it in a torrent of energetic attacks. Their powerful attacks cut through the darkness with devastating precision, creating dazzling explosions that lit up the planet's night sky. Bardock, with his fiery ki and indomitable spirit, channeled his energy into a powerful attack. His fists were burning with a searing intensity as he launched a concentrated burst of energy towards the shadow creature, challenging its strength with its own. Bardock's attack resonated with the determination of an invincible warrior, willing to give everything for the protection of his world. Radits and Cooler, united in battle, joined in a coordinated assault on the shadow creature. With fluid and coordinated movements, they launched bursts of energy from different angles, creating a barrier of attacks that surrounded their enemy. The shadow creature struggled to defend itself against the combined onslaught of the two powerful warriors, but its resistance was challenged by the determination and skill of Radits and Cooler. Meanwhile, Frieza, with his golden form glowing with a golden aura, was preparing to unleash his full power against the shadow creature. His eyes shone with a cold and calculated determination as he focused his energy on a devastating attack. With a graceful and precise movement, Frieza unleashed a burst of golden energy that swirled with unparalleled destructive power, threatening to envelop the shadow creature in a mantle of fire and destruction. The battle escalated as the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne bravely faced the darkness that threatened their world. Every blow, every burst of energy echoed through space, creating a spectacle of destruction and determination. Meanwhile, on the mental plane, Iwamo and Iwin were engaged in a metaphysical struggle against Father Zeno, an omnipotent entity whose presence radiated an aura of indescribable power. Iwin and Iwamo, aware of the gravity of the situation, desperately sought the intervention of Father Zeno to counter the threat of the shadow creature. However, to their surprise, Father Zeno solemnly informed them that they could not intervene directly, since the balance of the universe had to be kept intact even in times of crisis. Iwamo and Iwin, although unhappy with Father Zeno's decision, understood the importance of respecting the laws of the cosmos. With determination, they plunged even deeper into the metaphysical struggle, using all their ingenuity and power to find a solution to the crisis unfolding in Thraxis Nocturne. As a confrontation on the mental plane reached its climax, Iwamo and Iwin found themselves face to face with the imposing Father Zeno. His figure radiated an indisputable authority, but also an aura of mystery that aroused restlessness in the Iwin and Iwamo. Iwamo, with his usual serenity, broke the tense silence that filled the ethereal space. "Father Zeno," he began in a firm but respectful tone, "could it be you that... Were you the one who sent the shadow creatures to destroy the planets?" Father Zeno, with an unflappable expression, nodded slowly.
"I did it for the good of the universe,"
he replied calmly. Although his voice resonated with a power that shook Iwin and Iwamo,
sometimes drastic measures must be taken to preserve the cosmic balance.
Iwin, with a flash of indignation in his eyes, could not contain himself anymore.
"But that doesn't justify the chaos and destruction you've unleashed,"
he exclaimed, his voice echoing with unshakable determination.
"There are other ways to restore balance without resorting to violence and darkness."
Father Zeno observed the god of destruction and his angel with a penetrating gaze, as if he were evaluating their words and their posture.
"Your compassion is admirable, but sometimes it's necessary to sacrifice a few pieces to save the entire board,"
he said in an enigmatic tone. Awamo and Ewin exchanged determined glances. Although they respected Father Zeno's authority, they knew that they had to follow their own principles and convictions. With courage, they prepared to challenge the omnipotent being in front of them, willing to fight for what they believed was right, even if it meant facing the divinity itself. The air on the mental plane was charged with tension, as Awamo and Ewin prepared to face Father Zeno. Their divine auras collided in a show of titanic forces, as Ewin and Awamo prepared to challenge the supreme being in front of them. Awamo, with his heavenly book in hand, looked at Father Zeno with determination.
Father Zeno, although we respect your authority, we cannot allow you to continue with this destruction, he stated firmly. We'll fight for peace and balance in the universe, even if it means standing up to you.
Father Zeno, with an impenetrable calm, nodded in recognition.
Your courage is admirable, but you will not be able to stop me,
he replied calmly.
The fate of the universe is in my hands, and I'll do whatever it takes to preserve its balance.
Without further words, the battle began with a burst of divine energy. Awamo unleashed his celestial power, summoning rays of light that he threw against Father Zeno, while Ewin threw waves of energy with determination. However, Father Zeno showed impressive resilience, deflecting every attack with surprising ease. The fight went on for what seemed like an eternity, with Ewin and Awamo and Father Zeno trading punches and counterpunches in a cosmic dance of power and skill. Every movement was imbued with a supernatural force, while the mental plane trembled under the intensity of his conflict. However, as time passed, Awamo and Ewin began to feel the weight of their opponent. Father Zeno's power was overwhelming, and every blow Ewin and Awamo received weakened them even more. Despite their bravery and determination, it seemed that they were fighting against an impossible-to-defeat force. Awamo, panting from the effort, looked at his companion with concern.
Ewin, we can't go on like this, he admitted sincerely. Father Zeno's too powerful for us.
Ewin, though exhausted, nodded determinedly.
I know, Awamo, but we can't give up,
he replied firmly.
We must keep fighting for Thraxis Nocturn and for all beings in the universe.
With a final effort, Ewin and Awamo gathered their forces to launch a final attack against Father Zeno. However, the Supreme Being easily overcame them, deflecting his power with a contemptuous gesture. Father Zeno looked at Ewin and Awamo with a mixture of admiration and regret.
They're brave, but their struggle has come to an end, he solemnly declared. Accept your defeat and let fate take its course.
With a resigned sigh, Awamo and Ewin surrendered to Father Zeno's overwhelming strength. Although they had fought with all their heart and soul, they knew that they could not defeat the Supreme Being in front of them. Father Zeno, with a compassionate look, looked at them benevolently.
Rest now, my brave creations, he said gently. His bravery will be remembered throughout the universe.
Father Zeno, with an unflappable expression, extended his hand towards the exhausted Ewin and Awamo. In an instant, a powerful burst of cosmic energy emanated from his palm, enveloping Awamo and Ewin in a dazzling radiance. Ewin and Awamo screamed in agony as Father Zeno's energy enveloped them, feeling every fiber of their being torn apart under the relentless power of the Supreme Being. Their bodies, imbued with divine light, were slowly consumed in the maelstrom of energy, fading little by little into the ether of the cosmos. Awamo and Ewin fought with all their might to resist the cataclysm that engulfed them, but it was useless. The power of Father Zeno surpassed them in every respect, and they were soon reduced to mere shadows of their former glory. With the last gasp, Awamo and Ewin exploded, leaving body parts all over the mental space, dissipating into cosmic nothingness while their essence merged with the universe. At that precise moment, we return to the earthly plane, where the fierce battle between the most powerful warriors of Thraxis Nocturn and the shadow creature was reaching its climax. Bursts of energy and thunderous crashes echoed in the air, while Bardock, in the middle of the combat, glimpsed Awamo and Ewin, who were lying unconscious on the ground, enveloped in a halo of divine light. Surprise and dismay were reflected on the faces of the warriors, who momentarily stopped their frantic struggle upon realizing the situation. Bardock, his eyes wide open, watched in horror as Ewin and Awamo's bodies began to shake, emanating flashes of energy that increased in intensity with each passing second. A tense silence enveloped the battlefield as everyone watched the scene in disbelief. Suddenly, a heart-rending explosion echoed in the air, making the earth and sky tremble. Bardock and the other warriors were thrown back by the force of the explosion, protecting themselves as best as they could from the shockwave that was spreading around them. When the afterglow of the explosion faded, what was left was a smoking crater where Awamo and Ewin once stood. The warriors slowly stood up, stunned by what they had just witnessed, as the shadow creature, now shrouded in an even denser darkness, prepared to lash out again before the protecting warriors of Thraxis Nocturn. Bardock clenched his fist determinedly, feeling a mixture of sadness and fury burn inside him. He knew that they must continue the fight, not only for the honor of their planet, but also in memory of the brave fallen guardians. With a war cry, the warriors rushed into combat again, determined to avenge the loss of their comrades and protect their home from the darkness that threatened to consume it. After the devastating explosion that killed Awamo and Ewin, the warriors of Thraxis Nocturn gathered in a circle, still stunned by what had happened. Bardock, with a gloomy look, broke the silence with a grave tone.
Damn it! What the hell just happened?
Turtles, frowning, shook his head in disbelief.
I don't know, but we can't let this sacrifice be in vain. We need to get this thing over with once and for all.
Radits, with his fist clenched, furiously nodded determinedly.
You're right! Awamo and Ewin gave their lives to protect this planet. We cannot disappoint his sacrifice.
Frieza, with his usual impassive expression, spoke in a cold and calculated tone.
The death of Ewin and Awamo should not be in vain. We must unite and concentrate our efforts on defeating that shadow creature.
Cooler, with a serious look, added determinedly,
We are facing an unprecedented threat, but if we fight together, we can overcome it. Let's do it for the honor of Thraxis Nocturne, for the legacy of our brave comrades.
Bardock nodded solemnly, his jaw tense with determination.
So, are we in agreement? We'll fight together until the end and avenge our fallen.
The warriors nodded in agreement, sharing a look of determination and unity. With their hearts filled with determination, they prepared to face once again the darkness that threatened their home. As the warriors prepared to face the shadow creature again, a fierce determination burned in their hearts. Turtles, feeling the energy of the battle, was the first to unleash his power.
It's time to show them our true power!
With a powerful scream, Turtles wrapped himself in an aura of energy. Her dark hair turned golden and her eyes shone with a dazzling intensity. The energy of the Super Saiyan emanated from his being, infusing strength and determination into his entire being. Radits, inspired by Turtles' example, followed suit.
It's my turn!
With a burst of energy, Radits' dark hair bristled, turning golden just like his brothers. His ki increased dramatically, emanating a commanding presence that filled the battlefield. Seeing the transformation of his comrades, Bardock also joined the fray.
I can't stay behind!
With a battle cry, Bardock unleashed all his power. His fiery aura enveloped him in a higher golden glow. His energy increased to astronomical levels, propelling him towards a higher form of his race. Frieza, observing the transformation of the Saiyans, did not want to be left behind.
The time has come to show my true strength.
With a burst of energy, Frieza transformed into his golden form of maximum power similar to 100% full power. His body radiating a golden glow. His power multiplied several times, turning him into an unstoppable force that rivaled the sunlight itself. Cooler, feeling the energy surrounding him, decided to join the fight with all his might.
It's time to unleash my true potential.
With a flash of energy, Cooler transformed into his metallic form, his body glowing with a metallic luster. His stamina and power increased exponentially, making him an invincible force that would defy even the gods. With their transformations complete, the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne once again faced the shadow creature with renewed determination and a power that eclipsed any darkness. In the skies of Thraxis Nocturne, the battle continued as the transformed warriors faced off against the shadow creature, a being whose dark power threatened to devour everything in its path. With each of the warriors unleashing their full potential, the cosmos trembled under the force of their epic showdown. The golden aura of Turtles, Radits, and Bardock, combined with the imposing presence of Frieza and Cooler in their transformed forms, formed a dazzling spectacle in the night sky. Energy flickered around them, lighting up the darkness with golden and silver flashes as they prepared for the final showdown. The shadow creature, sensing his power of his adversaries, emanated a rumbling roar that echoed through the planet. His dark form seemed to twist and distort as he prepared for the final assault.
It's time to end this once and for all!
With a battle cry, Turles lunged forward. His speed increased by his Super Saiyan form. The shadow creature responded with an onslaught of dark energy, but Turles nimbly dodged it, moving with astonishing speed across the battlefield. Radits and Bardock followed Turles' lead, attacking with relentless ferocity. Their blows echoed in the air, each one charged with the strength of his determination and the desire to protect his home planet. The shadow creature's attacks were swift and fierce, but the Saiyans deftly dodged them, responding with even more powerful blows.
Father, let's keep the pressure on this thing. We can't let it destroy our home.
I know. We're not going to allow this monster to destroy Thraxis Nocturn. Our power is more than enough to end it.
That's right. You taught us to fight with courage and determination. We'll not back down before this creature is destroyed.
Take this!
The shadow creature dodged Bardock's attack with agility, launching its counterattack with its sharp claws.
Careful, Father.
Don't worry about me. I'm more than ready for this.
And take this too.
Radits' attacks hit the shadow creature hard, but it quickly recovered and counterattacked with a surge of dark energy.
Damn, this thing's tougher than I thought.
We can't give up now. Our planet depends on us.
You're right. Let's show you what we're capable of.
The two Saiyans launched into the air attack once more with renewed determination. Their blows echoed in the air, each one charged with the strength of his determination and the desire to protect his home planet. The shadow creature, although resistant, was overcome by the ferocity of the Saiyans. Turles, with his golden hair flowing behind him, launched a quick series of precise punches, each one carrying with it the power of his transformation into Super Saiyan. His movements were fluid and graceful, as if he were dancing around his enemy, dodging every attack with impressive agility.
There's no escape for you, monster! Your darkness can't compete with the power of the Super Saiyan!
With a battle cry, Turles lashed out at the shadow creature, striking with overwhelming force. Every blow resounded in the air, shaking the battlefield with its power. The shadow creature was fighting desperately, but its attacks seemed weak compared to Turles' ferocity. Meanwhile, Radits and Bardock were continuing their assault on the shadow creature. Their attacks were coordinated and precise, each complementing the other in a deadly dance of destruction. The shadow creature found itself increasingly cornered, unable to cope with the combined might of the Saiyans.
Come on, Father. We know we can stop this thing.
I know, Raditz. Let's keep pushing until there's nothing left of this creature.
With renewed determination, the two Saiyans redoubled their efforts, launching a series of devastating attacks against the shadow creature. Each blow echoed in the air, carrying with it the weight of his determination and the desire to protect his home planet. Frieza and Cooler were watching the battle intently from a distance, their cold gazes evaluating every move of the Saiyans and the shadow creature. As the fight intensified, they noticed with increasing concern how the shadow creature began to gain more strength, releasing a dark energy that threatened to destabilize this situation.
It seems that the things are getting more complicated than I expected.
Yes, the shadow creature seems to be gaining ground. If we don't intervene soon, we could face an even more dangerous situation.
With a cold determination, Frieza and Cooler exchanged a glance before heading towards the battlefield. His presence made itself felt immediately. His overbearing aura flooded the area as they prepared to face the shadow creature.
Looks like we need to intervene before things get out of control.
I agree. We cannot allow this shadow creature to wreak more havoc on our planet.
With surprising speed, Frieza and Cooler launched into action, deploying all the power in an effort to contain the shadow creature. His attacks were precise and devastating, each blow carrying with it the weight of his determination and the desire to protect his home. However, the shadow creature was not going to be easily defeated. With a thunderous scream, he split into 4 separate beings, each one darker and more malevolent than the last. The earth trembled under their weight as they advanced towards the warriors, ready to unleash their fury on them.
It seems that this creature has more tricks up its sleeve than we thought.
It doesn't matter. We have our own tricks.
Well guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment and subscribe. Now without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.